Alright, back to Ace Attorney. I know I'm late today, but I don't know, maybe I'll make up for it by going a little late. But if I remember correctly, um, well, first off, I'm not going to remember any of the voices correctly, so I don't know if I'm really going to try with that. I'm still going to do voices, but I can't remember what the guy on the left sounds like. Although he does look like a streamer named Cheesy. But I can't do that nasally voice. Maybe I can. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, story-wise, we're trying to prove that whatever scientist dude on the left did was an accident. Because our former best friend detective over there, Gregson, thinks it was on purpose, which, how could it be? It's teleportation in the early 20th century. So like the 1900s? I forget what year it is in this game. Do they ever clarify? Anyway, all that aside, now we're cross-examining. I remember we left off on cross-examination. So let's go ahead and give cross-examination a shot. See if we can't get some more information out of this, because something tells me I'm about to pull another not guilty verdict out of my ass somehow. Anyway, a front for murder. Oh, you know what? It would help if I clicked on this. Alright, the green means I already read it, so we're just gonna... The corpse that went crashing through the crystal tower had a broken neck. Wait, what is my evidence right now? Okay, I'm a lawyer. This was... Yeah, crystal tower... Wait. Oh yeah, this was the Reaper attack. Why can I examine this again? Lost cat! Oh, the Reaper attacked. It's the kingpins of the criminal underworld generally managing to escape conviction in the Reaper's trials. And this isn't the first time their henchmen have tried to attack Lord Van Zeeks as a result, by the sound of it. It makes you think, if that's how the justice system works in London, then there must be dark forces at work. Okay, well, I wanted to hear about the cat, but I guess we're not going to get to hear about the lost cat. This was the experiment sketch, a diagram showing the relative positions of the Crystal Tower and Professor Hairbrain's machine that exploded. I forgot his name was Hairbrain. So it was originally aimed this way. Like, I don't know how that's gonna help, but straight. Like, it was supposed to go across to this ledge here, so he's supposed to like teleport from this machine all the way to right here. But something blew up, threw the cannon up, and he was teleported up here, where they're saying he fell to his death. Okay. I don't really see anything else on this diagram that's going to help us at the moment, but maybe some testimony will get us to that. A weapon found hidden behind a tree under the experimentation stage at the exhibition grounds. It turns out that it's a folding crossbow. I remember looking at this. We found it under the stage. Okay. And the guy died from a piercing wound, so it could have came from this crossbow. I'm willing to bet it came from the crossbow. A piece of green cloth, a torn piece of canvas-like material backed with rubber that was found under the experimentation stage at the exhibition grounds. There are scorch marks at the edges. There was nothing about this we could identify right now, right? Just green canvas with rubber, right? With rubber, yeah. So that should have grounded any kind of electrical shock or whatever. I don't fucking know. Anyway, photographic print of the victim taken after he had ostensibly been beamed to the Crystal Tower. It shows an apparent stab wound to the chest. Most likely done by the arrow. Who is this guy again? I remember him being someone... You know what? I can just look at the people thing. I don't know why I'm asking you guys. You guys probably don't know as much as I do. Or probably don't... Probably understand as little as I do. There we go. Autopsy report, coroner, Courtney Scythe. That's going to be important. I remember saying that, because normally they don't tell us who the coroner is. But anyway, details of victim. Name, Odie Asman. Male, age 47, nationality British. For time of death, 21st, around 2:20. Cause of death, hemorrhage of a wound to the chest that pierced the heart, inflicted by a sharp implement. Additional observations, a broken vertebrae, most likely resulting from impact after a sudden fall from a considerable height. Okay, cool. Got it. Who's the people? Oh, can I not look at the people? Apparently not. We just get evidence right now. But anyway, let's go ahead and press and see. Oh, okay, I keep forgetting my controller needs to go elsewhere. Are you suggesting that's because he fell from a considerable height?
Exactly, which highlights something else about this whole rub business.
What's that? The fact that the instantaneous kinesis itself was a success.
After the explosion, the cage with the fella inside suddenly appeared out of nowhere in midair.
So although the experiment ended in disaster, the so-called instantaneous kinesis did actually occur. Remind us, Professor, what was the cause of the fatal disaster? I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection. That's all. That was my mistake.
Hold it!
I don't think you did, but we're going to go ahead and find out. So the angle of projection is critical, is it? And you calculated it yourself, personally? Absolutely! The calculation is far too complicated for anyone but me to carry out.
Only you got it wrong, didn't you?
Yes, that's right! That's the point! The calculation is so complicated, even I can make a mistake! Do people fall for that brazen confidence? I should try it. I took into account the subject's height and weight, the wind direction, the ambient temperature. I considered every possible variable, so I just don't understand how this could have happened. Obviously, then, you had to include the weight of the clothes Mr. Asman was wearing at the time, I suppose? Ah. Crackling comets! The answer should have been 3! So much for safety first. The 3 must be for safety third. But the postmortem examination revealed another injury. Okay.
Hold it!
Do tell. Another fatal injury, you say? That doesn't make any sense.
I didn't think I'd have to spell this out, but here we go. Just because there were 2 fatal wounds doesn't mean I'm saying the victim had 2 lives to lose, does it?
Too right.
Obviously, at first, we thought the bloke had died due to his spine snapping in half as well.
But you're saying that's not the case?
You'll get your answer once I finish my fish and chips if you don't keep butting in every few seconds.
But we all know that's a bottomless bag. The victim plummeted 30 feet into a glass tower. It would be reasonable to assume that is the cause of death.
Right, that's what we all thought. But it was a red herring, wasn't it?
There was a lesion in his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the
Hold it!
Do tell. The defense knew nothing of this crucial information. The prosecution received this report from the forensic investigation team early this morning. That was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility of informing the defense. Sarcastic and insincere. Thanks. So, what was the nature of this sharp object? Among the accused tools that were in use at the demonstration, one is of particular interest. This.
Ah, yes, that would appear to be some kind of screwdriver, wouldn't it, Counts?
Aha! There he is! My trusty little companion, Andrew! Andrew. Of course. How'd we not see that coming? Ah, do you know each other already? He's one of my dear friends, like all my tools. I've named them all, you know. We're one big, happy family. Andrew is my flathead screwdriver, of course. His brother Michael is a crosshead.
Well, it would appear that your beloved Andrew has a red stain on his shank.
That isn't... It's blood beyond all reasonable doubt. No.
And that's not all. The long, sharp shape of this Andrew fellow is completely consistent with the victim's wound.
What?
Order, order! The court will enter this friend of the defendant as evidence.
Screwdriver has been entered into the court record. Alright. So one of Professor Harebrain's tools is the murder weapon? Was it shot from the crossbow? Because that would make sense. Professor Harebrain's trusty screwdriver that he's named Andrew, because there's a little A. There are traces of blood at the tip, and it matches the shape of the victim's wound. Well, let's take a little peeky peek, shall we? This is blood. Mr. Asman's, no doubt. This is the problem with looking at murder weapons. That it has blood on them? Yeah, that's kind of expected. It's part of the job, dude. I've seen this unusually shaped handle before. It's the same screwdriver that was lodged in the grill on the floor of the kinesis machine, which could be important information, so I should definitely make a note of it. A metal screwdriver that was found poking through the grill in the base of what remains of the kinesis machine. It has a very distinctive handle. Does that mean it couldn't have been shot through the grill? I don't know. That's all we're going to get from this, I think. Let's go back. Great. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fellow's the only one who could have done it.
Hold it!
What grounds do you have for saying that?
Oh, do you really need to ask? There were only 2 people on that public experimentation stage in front of the whole crowd.
The victim, Mr. Odie Asman, and the accused, Professor Harebrain. And we know for certain that before the experiment, the victim was alive.
I saw with my own eyes.
I love that juror. I forgot how much I love that juror. He's my favorite juror. Furthermore, following the explosion in kinesis, nobody went anywhere near the body.
In other words, only someone on stage with the victim could possibly have done it.
Oh, hello. Do you have something you wish to share? Pursue.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Professor Harebrain, do you have some information that may be relevant here? Professor. Sorry. I was just calculating the optimum coefficient of electrolysis to separate molecules in the human body. And the witness stand is the best place for that? It seemed as though you might have something to say about Inspector Gregson's last remark. I shortened that because I'm not going to do that for that long. Yes, that's right, of course. He just said that nobody else could have done it, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Who else could have stabbed the victim, eh?
I don't know, but there's no way that I could possibly have stabbed Mr. Asman, as you say.
Eh?
Explain, please, Professor. Of course, this cold-hearted policeman may not be aware, I suppose. But humans are warm-blooded mammals, with blood running continuously through their veins.
I had heard.
Then surely, you see, if I plunged something the size of Andrew into the man's chest, the whole stage would have been a bloodbath. No, a blood swimming pool. Oh. But thousands of Londoners were watching me at the time. And yet not one of them claims to have seen a swimming pool of blood.
No, I suppose not.
You see, not one.
Man, true. I didn't see anything like that.
I love that juror. Well done, Professor. That was a great counter-argument. See, this is the first really interesting case when it comes to Ryunosuke and Zeke's, because I think Zeke's is kind of relying on Ryunosuke to get his friend out of trouble. Order! Pray forgive the discourtesy if I savor a drop from my hallowed chalice to accompany my old friend's adducing. Here's to you, Albert. Oh, you're too kind, Barrick, but I'm really not a patch on you. What does that mean? I'm not a patch on you. No, you're not. Mel? You've neglected to mention one crucial possibility. I have. A particular situation in which very little bleeding would result from a stab wound.
Oh, of course.
Inspector, enlighten the court, please.
Yes, sir.
Where are they going with this?
Very well. You will amend your formal testimony now, Inspector Gregson. The weapon the victim was stabbed with must have been left in his body whilst he was beamed through the air.
Yeah, I already know what I want to present to that, but we're going to press him because that's what we do. Why would you think that, Inspector?
With any wound, it's only when you pull the weapon out that profuse bleeding occurs. Whilst it's still lodged in the body, it acts as a stopper of sorts, for want of a better word.
I see. You don't need a medical degree to be aware of this fact. It's common knowledge for any investigator. Where's Susato-san when you need her?
If you ask me, this bloke smashed what he was doing from the view with his body before stabbing Asman in the chest. Then he beamed the victim off the stage with his fancy device, the screwdriver still where he planted it.
I would never do such a thing! Not to my precious tools, I would never use them for such dirty work! You only use tools for their intended purpose! That's common knowledge for any scientist! The fact remains the lack of blood at the scene can easily be explained, as the prosecution has demonstrated. Alright, we know what we're presenting because the screwdriver we just looked at it found in the grill. Nah, we're good. So that's all the testimony I have to work with. I had no idea the victim had been stabbed. That changes everything. Did Van Zieks keep that to himself until now on purpose? To gain the advantage? Oh well, I suppose all I can do is press these witnesses for as much new information as possible. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yep, I know. Present and driver.
Objection!
Objection. You say that while the weapon remains in the body, there's very little bleeding. Is that unequivocal?
Look, there was no blood on the experimentation stage, even though that's where the fellow was stabbed. The only explanation for that is if the screwdriver was still in his body, stopping any heavy bleeding.
It's common medical knowledge, my learned friend, even on your side of the world. Yes, but about this screwdriver... The thing is, we actually saw it at the scene ourselves, on the experimentation stage. What? It was on the floor by the wreckage of the machine, poking through a metal grill. I went to pick it up, but the detective here stopped me. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson?
Oh, well, now you come to mention it, yes.
Inspector, are we to understand that you permitted the defense counsel to investigate? That you contravened the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act?
No, not at all. I wouldn't do that. I just let him look. Nothing more. I was very clear it wasn't to touch a thing.
Yes, that's true. This screwdriver was in plain sight on the stage. See, it was on stage. But it shouldn't have been, should it?
But what are you getting at?
If this tool, that's me, had still been in the victim's body when the victim was beamed away by the machine, then it shouldn't have still been on the stage. That's right, it should have been beamed across to the Crystal Tower along with Mr. Asman, and been found still lodged in the victim's chest. Yeah, you point that finger. Point it!
Order, order! How do you explain this, Inspector? I do.
It looks as though everything that the victim had on his person moved with him when he was beamed. If that... Hey, Norman, how you doing? Thank you so much for dropping by. Oh, let me get you a shout-out real quick. Shout-out, my good pal Norman. How you doing tonight? How was your stream? What were you playing? Ah, of course, Shenmue. Shenmue 3 now, damn. You're making quick work of those games. How's Shenmue 3 going on? Is it a good sequel to the one you were playing before? Hi, I'm gonna pronounce that terribly. I apologize in advance, but Killies, I'm thinking. Hi, Killies. Welcome on in. Thank you for coming on over on Norman's raid. Soon we'll return back to Ace Attorney. Awesome. I want to try to jump in on one of those. But how are you guys? And Killies, I was gonna say, just because I've taken a habit to asking this question just to kind of gauge people, what's your favorite thing about Norman Fox's streams? What does Norman do that you really love? And third is better than first for me, second still the best. I want to agree. I do agree that the second Ace Attorney was really good. Really good. The last trial was something else. It was awesome. Still, though, my favorite, like, individual trial is still the one where Phoenix defends Edgeworth for the, the lake murder. That one, like, I was playing the first game, and I got to that trial, and you know how it has that intro cinematic, and you just see the screen kind of pan up, and Edgeworth with a gun in his hand, and I was just like, what? This asshole just did something, and now I have to protect him? And then the whole, like, friendship thing kind of happened, and it was so nice and cool and awesome. But still, I do agree the second one was awesome. Oh, talking about Shenmue? That's fine. I'm talking about Ace Attorney. And that's just, well, I'm a big fan of the series, but now you know why. Now you know my preferences. But third is better than first for me, second's still the best. Good. Oh, I meant to ask, Norman. I don't know if I asked you this question already, but what is your favorite game? Do you have a favorite game? Did I ask you that already? Because I have on my list here Witcher 3, that's from GG. Fatal Frame 2, that's a recommendation. Metal Gear Solid 3. Someone said that one. You don't have a favorite game ever? Okay, that's fine. There's a lot of games out there, so I know it's a loaded question right off the bat. So saying I don't have one is totally understandable. For Attorney, I played only first two and first Great One. You only played, like, so regular Ace Attorney, and I think it was Trials and Tribulations, and then Great Ace Attorney 1. You're kind of missing out. It gets pretty damn good as you go down the line, honestly, in my opinion, but I've been a fan of them since like 10 years ago. I know only I don't like. Games that you don't like. That's fair. Everyone has their preferences. My don't likes is sports games. I cannot get into sports games. But I don't think that's weird. I think that's, like, clearly there's certain people that those are aimed towards, and I'm definitely not one of them. So that's cool. Among visual novels, Zero Escape Trilogy is the best for me. Okay. Maybe I'll put that on the list. I'm trying to make a list of stuff I need to do or play on stream, because I have a okay. I know this isn't relevant to the game, but I have this giant pad of paper that I would like to go through, and I figure, why not do something useful, like start writing down all the games that people prefer, and maybe play them on stream. I think that's a great idea. But you said Zero Escape. Okay. Zero Escape. Okay. First CE, ZE, wow, I can't even talk. First CE is very easy one. Puzzles are too simple. Hey, I'm okay with that, as long as it's a nice, easy intro into the series. I'm okay with it. If the next ones get harder, that's cool too. Zero Escape. Ooh, Killy's answer. Nice. He is loyal to his gameplay flow, but at the same time doesn't ignore chat suggestions. Not my suggestions, because I like to let streamers flow naturally with their instinct. That's fair. And he doesn't mind my bad jokes about whatever happens in games he's playing. Bad jokes are awesome. I don't know if anyone ever criticizes a bad joke. That's just because they don't understand the nuances to a good bad joke, you know? Like, dad jokes are bad by default, but they're kind of like bad in a good way. So, I don't know. I love a good bad joke, but I can totally understand why you'd enjoy that. But that's awesome. Good. Very cool. I feel like if I ask this question to enough people that raid me, maybe I can adapt it, you know? Just go with it. But for now, we're just doing what we do. Like you said, instinct. Second is the hardest with many optional puzzles if you want to get epilogue in the game. Okay, so there's different paths you can take depending on the puzzles you do. You must solve them all for the last chapter in-game. Okay. I'll try to keep that in mind for use of the second one. Zero Escape, second... Oh, I also gotta write down Doki Doki. Fuck. Because that's been on my list for a long time. I just never gotten around to it. It's hard to avoid spoilers for that one, but every time I hear it mentioned, I try to get away as fast as possible. I just know that, like, there's something wrong with it. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna play it. I'm looking forward to it, but definitely got to go on the list now. Doki Doki is just straightforward, no puzzles at all. I get that. I get that. But I was just thinking about visual novels because you said ZE is a lot like a visual novel. So, like Ace Attorney visual novels, ZE visual novels, Doki Doki just kind of came to my mind, and I was like, crap, I still gotta play that. But I will definitely look into Zero Escape. And optional cutscenes take 6 additional hours for nothing. I don't know if I would do optional cutscenes then. I was very disappointed to see it. I'm just looking forward to seeing the main thing and whatever the hell everyone's talking about. I mean, trying to talk about that I kind of steer away from, but that's neither here nor there. That's a later time thing. So, for now, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. The secret ending? I get that. I'm not one to chase down secret endings, especially on stream, because I feel like repeating something too many times just gets kind of boring. So, if I did do optional endings, it would be separate, but yeah, I just want to see the main thing. That's all I want to see. Also, I don't mind this background music while we chat. I love this song. It's a very old-fashioned version of the regular Ace Attorney songs. Anyway, let's get back to this. If the screwdriver was still in the chest when the instantaneous kinesis occurred, obviously that should have been beamed to the destination as well.
You...
This is a strange situation. Even though people are saying that this instantaneous kinesis is a scientific impossibility, we're still basing arguments on the assumption that it did actually take place. Alright, time to tighten the screws here. My lord, if the prosecution is unable to explain this inconsistency in its argument, we can only conclude that the testimony given in support cannot be relied upon. Well, all Zero Escape games have only one ending. That are hard to reach? You get stuck for 24 hours without guide? Alright, that one, I may have to leave the backseating allowed tag on or something, but I'll keep a guide open on the side just in case, because 24 hours and not being able to beat a visual novel seems like a long freaking time, you know? Then again, I don't know how much time I put into this one, but it certainly isn't 24 hours yet. What was I doing though? Alright. Testimony. Lord Van Zeeks is stunned. Oh no. That was harebrained.
Do you have something to say, witness?
Yes, I knew it! It bears out! The equations hold! Mr. Naruhodo, don't worry! About what? Better not use it until you see at least 2 game overs. Okay. Okay. I will make that a note here. 2 game overs guide. Okay, there we go. Without delving into the details, there is no inconsistency. What? Even if Andrew had been lodged in Mr. Asmund's chest, my trusty tool wouldn't have moved. Andrew remaining on the stage is consistent with my calculations. What? Why would you blow open my only advantage? Yeah, I'm with you, Naruhodo. And there goes the wine bottle. It would seem your illusions have been shattered. Clearly, we should hear the accused explanation. Or should I say, this brilliant scientist's explanation? Just when I'd found an inconsistency in the prosecution's argument. Scientists.
Very well, the defendant will testify again. Provide us with a scientific explanation as to why the inconsistency asserted by the defense fails to hold.
In the name of Apollo, I will, my lord. Alright, but I see so many times when people gave up after the first game over and say that they finished the... Oh, I forgot to sing that. Witness testimony, the inconsistency explained. There we go. But I see so many times when people gave up after the first game over and say that they finished the game. Very sad. Really? After just one game over? That seems odd. Especially if they were, like, really into it. That's... I don't know. I don't know, that doesn't sit well with me. And I'm fat, so I sit really well. But I'll give it 2. I'll give it 2 game overs, and then I will reference a guide. I can make that promise. Alright, let's see what the inconsistency is. Explain blah 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 blah. I can't talk. To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. My hypothesis states that kinesis cannot transport metal, though, hence the metal weapon would have stayed put. In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naruhodo isn't an inconsistency at all. Mr. Asman was the patron of my research. Without him, my work wouldn't have been possible. Now I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together. Okay, yeah, you're gonna honor a debt. Oh, whatever. I'm not gonna get into details about that, but there's something that doesn't sit well with me on that one, and it's definitely this picture here. Because if metal doesn't go through the thing, that explains the wooden buckles here. But then, what the fuck is this? What is this? Is these glasses not metal? That not metal? Is this not metal? It looks metal. Something's not sitting well with me here. Well, you will get first only after 12 hours of reading LUI? Maybe there's too much for them. Some people just cannot handle 12 hours of reading. But then again, clearly I can. I've been doing this great Ace Attorney game on stream, and then all the other Ace Attorney games played for myself. I really miss those. I should go through them again. Okay, anyway. Oh, what was he saying? Oh, right, metal doesn't go through.
So, the thrust of your testimony, Professor, is...
that based upon his hypothesis, metal objects cannot be moved by this method of instantaneous kinesis.
In other words...
In other words, since the screwdriver is made of metal, even if it remained lodged in the victim's chest, its subsequent discovery on the stage, despite the victim is being found elsewhere, is not an inconsistency.
And therefore...
Put 2 and 2 together, old man, come on! And therefore, Professor Albert Harebrain could still have been the killer. My great hypothesis holds, you see? Why are you happy about this? We had to make the cage used to contain the subject from wood for that very reason.
I was not addressing you, witness.
Professor Harebrain? Yes? Whose side are you on here? I don't take sides, Mr. Naruhodo. No, no, no. My only interest lies in upholding my hypothesis. I'm a scientist, after all. Is he working for us or against us? It's very hard to tell. Let's see how you cross-examine this testimony, my Nipponese friend. Yes, fire away, Mr. Naruhodo. This dude, I don't get him. Witness testimony. Oh no, sorry. Cross-examination. The inconsistency explained. Alright, we press everything, like we always do.
Hold it!
Hold it. And yet your retort to my argument wasn't lacking in confidence in any way. No scientist can find the truth without first finding self-belief. Those were the words of a certain scientist I hold in the very highest esteem. But you realize that disproving my argument puts you in a very precarious position, don't you? No scientist should strive to protect himself more than he strives to protect the truth. More words of the same great scientist, you know. Words that are causing me a lot of trouble. Who is this scientist? I'm afraid I couldn't tell you, Mr. Naruhodo. But as soon as I remember the magnificent genius's name, you'll be the first to know. It might be worth keeping the names of your idols to mind. You're wasting your breath, my learned friend. This scatterbrain even forgets my name at times. So Lord Van Zeeks really did have a friend once. But I didn't notice hell freezing over. That's kind of funny. I should use that. It's a great comeback. My hypothesis... Blah, 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 blah.
Hold it!
Your hypothesis states it, so this isn't proven, then? No, no, of course not. It's merely a hypothesis, but a good one, based upon thousands of calculations. But it is widely known that metals can't be decomposed by electrolysis. Yes, of course, so I am right. My hypothesis is clearly correct. What is it about incriminating himself that makes this man so happy? It's the whole reason that the birdcage is made of wood, you see. Sorry, the birdcage? Yes, that's what I call the C. obtusa cage in which Mr. Asman was placed for the kinesis.
Ah, the jail cell in which the victim was detained. It does indeed seem to be made of a timber of some sort.
I'll thank you not to refer to it as an instrument of incarceration, your lordship. Still wondering about them glasses. In short, any weapon lodged in the victim when he was beamed away by instantaneous kinesis would have been left behind on the stage if it was made of metal. Correct. Yes, that's it. Yes, yes, yes. It all fits perfectly with the mathematical model.
But the ultimate conclusion, then, is that the defendant alone had the opportunity to inflict this fatal injury on the victim, is it not? Ah, indeed, sir.
Someone beat me out of this nightmare. Yep. Hold it! Hold up. Wait a minute. There's more lyrics to that, but I don't know them. Anyway. You seem to be pleased by that. Yes, another example of my hypothesis holding true. But I sense some sarcasm, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you not pleased? No. I knew it. At the end of the day, I'm the one responsible for Mr. Asman losing his life. The advancement of science is no excuse, I know that. No, you're quite right.
Tell the court, did you have a close relationship with Mr. Asman?
Oh, well, no, not really. I mean, I'd only met him 2 or 3 times. And we only ever discussed my hypothesis and the project. And the research rant, of course. Blah, 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 blah. How did you come to know Mr. Asman in the first place? A year ago now, a small provincial science journal published a little paper about my work. It's literally little paper, yeah, absolutely.
That's a scientific journal. Good gracious, I should need new spectacles.
I might have had an extraordinary hypothesis and great promise, but at the time, I had no money. I had to eat tiny little meals at a tiny little cafe and drink watered-down water out of a tiny little glass. I'm not going to ask the obvious question. We're just going to move on. But Mr. Asman read the paper and came to visit me at my tiny little laboratory. And offered you money to help fund your work. Exactly! That's exactly what happened. I handled the theoretical side of things, and Mr. Asman provided me with an engineer for the practical. And the 3 of us produced that fantastic machine together. I would like to know who that third party is now, please. The machine that you brought to the Great Exhibition to demonstrate. We had to apply to the government for some sort of inspection to be allowed to exhibit, I think. I didn't understand all that side of things. Mr. Asman took care of all of it. He was a wonderful man, really. I owe him everything. Now I have a duty to...
Hold it!
Third party, please. Who is this third party? When you say that you built the machine together, does that mean that you were involved in its construction? Yes. Well, not exactly. I'm not good with the practical side of machines myself, so the physical construction was done by an engineer. Little remains of your creation now, though, following the explosion. Repair will no doubt be impossible. Yes, I realize that, but still. Hey, Mochi, how you doing? Thanks for the Zoidberg. Wow, my voice is cracking already because I'm switching between Van Zeeks and Hairbrain. But hey, Mochi, how you doing? Welcome in. How's your afternoon going? Are you having a good day? Also, what have you been up to? What have you been doing? Not great. Is it because of that thing we discussed earlier? We don't have to share it on stream if you don't want to. It's okay. And hey, that guy, how you doing? Welcome on in. How is your day? How is your evening going, that guy? that guy. Talking to you, that guy. Anyway, did I say this? I don't know. Yes, I realize that, but still. If someone were to gather all the broken parts, they could discover the secret of my hypothesis. But Mr. Asman and I toiled over that machine for so long. We put our hearts and souls into it. I have to protect our work. So what's left of the machine must be kept safe. That's only fair because what happened because what happened was an accident. Had a day off due to an injury I sustained during work, so I just slept the day. Was supposed to take a 40-minute nap, took a 4-hour sleep. Dude, definitely been there. Sunday I fell asleep at 2. I was like, I just need to take a quick nap. And then I woke up at like 8. It was terrible. Well, it was great, but the rest of my day disappeared, so I get that. But I'm sorry that you got injured. If you don't mind me asking, how did you get hurt? And I hope you feel better. I hope your day off recuperated you a bit. Yeah, he's great, but I don't want LD. It's fair. Not a lot of people do, to be honest, but I really want to be with him. Yeah, it may be better to just kind of put that part to the side, stay friends for now, and once you have the opportunity to close the distance, maybe try to pick it up again there, if everything is still, you know, within the realm of possibility. Burnt my finger off from an electric shock when I was trying to maintain some equipment. Burnt your finger off? Like your whole finger just like pop gone? I'm assuming you just burnt it really bad, but still, that's terrible. I'm glad you're, you know, alive. Nope, just burnt it? Okay. Well, still, I'm so sorry that happened. I didn't lose my trigger finger yet. Good. Good. I assume losing a digit would not be great. But whatever like medical stuff you need, I hope that your work is going to cover it for you, because obviously an injury sustained while on the job falls under their workers' compensation. And I only know that because I'm in insurance. Anyway, enough of that. Enough of the complaining. Anyway, that's the extent of the testimony then. Thank goodness for that. I don't want him doing any more damage. He's already basically proven that he could have been the culprit. But it seems as though all he really cares about is defending his hypothesis. Still, I wonder, what if his hypothesis is just fundamentally flawed? Okay, so at this stage of the game, I have no idea what I want to present, so I'm going to save it again, because I am save scum, and go back. It was just a 1.5 degree burn? Okay, that's not too bad then. I've suffered 2nd degree burns before, and those can be terrible. 1.5, it's close, but you should be good if you rest it for, I'm assuming, at least a week. Not that you need to be off work for a week. I don't know what you do, but hopefully you'll have full capabilities again in about a week. He says he wants me all to himself, and it will kill him to hear I'm with someone else. That's rough. If he can't handle friendship, but you don't want to do long distance, you may have to just kind of end it there until he deals with his own emotions. Megs, can I be blunt with you? I just recommend you be nice, that guy. This is a safe space for a reason, but obviously you can say if you have something in your heart that you feel. As long as you do it nicely, you can share it. Anyway, so I think I know what I want to do. This is the one I want to look at again. No. I don't mean to... think I want to present the picture, because that doesn't make sense. The glasses, they're still there. Please tell me this is right.
Objection!
It is right. Thank you, Jesus Christ. Alright, that guy. Rip the bandage off. It's gonna hurt like a bitch and a half, and I say that from experience, and you know I had a similar experience when the girl wasn't direct to me. Well, she already did that earlier, technically. Like, put down her boundaries and whatnot. Like, not that they were really boundaries, but it was more just like, long distance is a bitch. Long distance is a bitch. So, she just kind of stated that she wasn't interested in that kind of thing, but I think she's working on that part. I'm not sure, though. I'm not going to be specific, because I'm only hearing it from an outside perspective. Ultimately, it's going to be better for this guy if you're direct with him. Don't egg him on with false hopes. That hurts even more. Be direct with him and let time do its thing. She did. She absolutely. She's not like leading him on or anything. She was very precise with how she felt about him, but the limitations of distance. So she is being very direct. So she's doing the right thing. It's just going to be like you said. It's just going to hurt over time, but it should, like, it depends on how he takes it, but we'll see. But I can vouch for her that she is doing exactly what you said, just kind of being direct. So, but well, if you said your boundaries, then there's very little else on your end. Let Father Time do its thing. Yeah, that's good advice. I would say the same thing. Like, if she hadn't already taken that step, I would probably say the same thing as well. Just be direct and just kind of take things step by step. There's no predicting what's going to happen, obviously, but just deal with things as they come, and it's going to suck if it's, not what you want, but you kind of got to let time do its thing, like you said. But we have talked every day for like 3 weeks. I do have feelings for him, which makes things a lot harder. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's nice that you found someone that you connect to in that way, but what you said earlier was good. And like what that guy said, being direct, you were very direct. So all you can really do at this point is just kind of lay out what you want. He lays out what he wants. If they don't match, just see if you can maintain a friendship, and if you can't do that, you may have to just kind of let it go until a future time when you guys can, make it work. Let Father Time do his thing. You already done everything in your power. Oh, you're saying now step down and wait. Well, I don't know if I would say just ghost him, but just take things step by step, in my opinion. But Mochi is a grown adult. She can make her own decisions. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Crap! I forgot to read that part. Awesome. Professor Harebrain, you say that according to your hypothesis... No, why is autoplay on? Stop that. Nothing made of metal can be beamed by instantaneous kinesis using the machine you made. Is that right? No, do not autoplay. Stop autoplaying. Stop autoplaying. Yes, that's right. Spot on. Exactly correct. In that case, I'd ask you to have a look at this photograph that was taken at the scene. In particular, I'd like you to pay attention to the victim's face. You can clearly see that Mr. Asman is wearing a pair of spectacles with a metal rim. What? Metal? No! Metal can't... That's not... Metal? No! We've already established that the proposed murder weapon, the screwdriver, was found on the stage. However, if your hypothesis correctly predicted that outcome, it should also have predicted that the metal-rimmed spectacles would be found in the same place. Ah! My hypothesis! My hypothesis! Professor Harebrain, this isn't easy for me to say, but your hypothesis is clearly flawed. Ah! Anyway.
Order! Order! Council, what is the implication of this?
If, on the day in question, the alleged instantaneous kinesis never actually took place, then it's entirely possible that the victim was killed somewhere other than on the stage. And in that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit. But my hypothesis is sound! I proved it that day! The experiment was a success! The experiment was proof of all my work!
If I could say something here, in my capacity as a fellow of the Royal Society. Yes, juror number 4, go ahead. As a man of science, there is one thing I simply cannot abide. And that's a shroud who pretends to be a fellow man of science.
What? Wait! Great Scott! Are you suggesting my science is suspect?
It's just been disproved, hasn't it? In front of all of us. In other words, the whole demonstration was a complete nonsense from start to finish. Believe me, my fellow jurors, when I tell you that this man is a heel, a bounder, and a fraud.
Let me catch up real quick. Not ghosting, but taking some steps back and waiting, but alas, I ain't your dad, do as you please. I figured that's what you meant, but I think that's what she's kind of working her way towards right now. When he says he wants me all to himself, I want to say, well, that's not really your choice. I mean, if that's how you feel as well, you can certainly tell him that, but at the same time, I would reiterate that because of the limitations currently, it's not an option. It's not something that you want. So, if you do mention that, that's what I would mention as well. Sounds like something mellow that he said, just trying to be romantic and sound devoted. Yeah, possibly, but she can reciprocate that feeling while still stating that it doesn't matter if we want it, there is a limitation, and until we fix that, we can't have the other thing. Take it from somebody who's very mellow. Mellow as a cucumber, my man.
I say the record of that machine should be stripped down and thoroughly examined.
No! Never! That machine's the essence of my entire hypothesis! It's protected by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. SDSEA. Okay, that doesn't spell anything. I don't...
What the devil's that blasted act all about? Who made up such a daft rule?
I don't like the way this seems to be going. What's the best way for me to help the professor? Would raising an objection right now really help anything? Like... Right now, I've just proved his hypothesis is kind of faulty, and everyone's calling him not a real scientist, which I'm fine with. I just need to get him off the hook. So I don't think I should raise an objection, but he wants the best way to help the professor would be to raise an objection, I guess. But I don't see how that would help. I don't know. I'm gonna save again, because I'm scum. Save scum, let's go! And real quick, yeah, I think so. I think you're doing the right thing. That guy made some good points. But I think you're gonna be fine handling this. It's just gonna be tough. It's gonna be rough. Not in a good way. Ooh, sorry. Fun fact, Link in Zelda 1, 2, and Link to the Past is Christian. That is a very odd fun fact. How do you come to that conclusion, that guy? Very curious. I'm gonna wait and see. Maybe I should watch and wait for the time being.
My feeling is that the machine requires a thorough examination.
What about this special dispensation that's been mentioned? Oh gosh, this is all too much.
If it's determined that the machine itself is a murder weapon, I think you'll find that the act won't apply.
Of course it was the murder weapon. Anyone can see that as plain as day.
So we're all in agreement, are we, that the machine should be stripped?
If I don't do something, they'll...
Objection!
Okay, I wasn't supposed to wait and see, apparently, but I'm fine with it. I got to talk like that one guy. The art book for all 3 games feature Link worshipping Jesus / the cross in one way or another? Really? I didn't know that. I'll have to see pictures of that. Professor Harebrain has yet to perfect his invention. That would seem to be the case, yes. But even so... Even so, what? Going to such trouble and expense to create a fake machine to display in public? You would have absolutely no reason to do such a thing.
Objection!
He had an obvious reason to do exactly that. For the research grant money.
As the government was foolish enough to have deemed the man's ridiculous notion plausible, he and his conspirators would have received a handsome sum indeed.
Conspirators? What would be the value of such a grant? 10 pounds?
You're an order of magnitude out, madam. 500 pounds. A year!
Oh, you could have handsome on that much for years!
The Society's noticed an increase in bogus public demonstrations in the field of science recently. And plenty of scientists arguing with each other to get the largest slice of the funding cake. People's greatest plenty motive enough for murder. I assure you.
No! I haven't deceived anyone! Least of all the government! My hypothesis is sound, the science is sound! Please, you must believe me!
Objection!
No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower. Which means that the experiment was a success. Ah! Barrick! And therefore, the only person who could possibly have committed this murder is the accused. Ah, Barrick. Where is this heading? I have no idea. That's fair. I have no idea either. Check DMs on Discord? I will, absolutely. Right after I'm done here. My lord, if I may.
Yes, Lord Van Zeeks.
The prosecution would like to summon new witnesses to the stand.
New witnesses? What would be the nature of their involvement?
They were spectators of the demonstration at the exhibition who were occupying special seats. Eyewitnesses.
Very well, the court grants the prosecution's request. I should very much like to hear from eyewitnesses to the incident.
The prosecution's stance is clear. The experiment was no postiche. The accused killed the financier victim there on the public stage before the very eyes of the spectators. Now, my learned friend. Oh, yeah? It's time for you to make your own stance clear. There's clearly a flaw in the professor's hypothesis. I can definitely see that. But where does that leave me?
We shall take a short recess now, during which time the prosecution will prepare its new witnesses to take the stand.
As you wish, my lord.
Good. In that case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes.
Clap. I don't know where that leaves us. I don't know where this is going. This feels like a circus in the courtroom. To be continued. Well, you heard the game, guys. Apparently we're done. It's going to be continued at a later time. Nah, I'm kidding. Like right now. I still got over an hour to go. 23rd October, 10:44 a.m. 1902. I don't know what year it is. I'd really like to know what the time frame on this game is. I probably could look it up. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Mr. Naruhodo, what on earth were you playing at just now? Or rather, what on earth were you playing at all along? My hypothesis, my amazing hypothesis! You've been picking holes in it from the start! Sorry about that. But you promised me! You said you'd prove that dreaded explosion was an accident, not murder! You said you'd keep my precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands! But all you've done so far is try to undermine me! Yes, I did make you a promise, you're right. I said that I'd believe in you and fight for your freedom to the very end. But I also told you I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. The fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there? Ah, but if I just run through some equations... Yes, you see? It's because my work is incomplete. Perhaps it is. Nevertheless, a man died as a consequence, didn't he? Oh. Oh, no! You're right. You're so right. It's all my fault. I have no right to blame you for my failures. Man, Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright's OST is such a vibe. Yeah, you've mentioned that before. I look forward to hearing it when I give it a shot. I gotta write that down too. PLV dub. Yeah, I'll remember that. I'm a disaster, not just as a scientist, but as a human being. Well, that might be a little over the top. And while we're on the subject, what about Barrick? He's being awful. Claiming his old university friend to be a murderer, you mean? He's a disaster, not just as a prosecutor, but as a human being. Oh, but no, wait! He's the Reaper, isn't he? Perhaps he's not classified as Homo sapiens anymore? Glad that's cleared up. The theme of Labyrinthia is a great one. I'm probably not going to write down the name, but if you send me a link in Discord, I might be able to check it out. If you want to share it, you're more than welcome to. There's also a music, in my Discord, there's a channel, I think, for music. I think there is, right? No, there's not. But I should put that. Maybe Mochi can make one. You want to do that, Mochi? Yes, glad that's cleared up. Can I double-check something with you? Ah, yes? What? The machine and demonstration you prepared, they were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume. There was no trickery involved? I drew the plans for the machine with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn with the firm belief that science is the only future. So yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet, but please, Mr. Naruhodo, you must believe in it. Alright, Professor. I understand. Counsel, defendant. The prosecution's witnesses are ready to take the stand. Court is about to be in session again. Make your way into the courtroom, please. They're robots because there's so many bailiffs. You can't really give them a unique voice, right? It all hinges on that demonstration. If the professor's hypothesis is sound as he claims, it leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Sholmes was adamant. A practical implementation, such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition, is quite impossible. So really, what should I be trying to prove here? That is an excellent question. What am I trying to prove here? I think you'd rather wait until you play it and listen to it for the first time? That's a great idea. I am down to do that. 23rd October, 11 a.m., the Old Bailey Courtroom.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready for the new witnesses to testify?
The prosecution is ready, my lord. As is the defense, my lord.
So, Lord Van Zieks, I believe these next witnesses saw the demonstration on the day in question with their own eyes.
Indeed they did. And as luck would have it, one of them is a police detective. So the testimony we are about to hear can be considered highly reliable. Perfect. A detective of all people. Don't tell me it's like the cop from like the last game. Probably is. The prosecution's stance remains unchanged. Though it ended in tragedy, the demonstration on the day in question was scientifically sound. And consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to have committed this act of murder is the only other individual to have been present on the stage at the time. The accused.
Excuse me. Thank you, counsel. The prosecution's position is clear. So, bring forth your witnesses now.
Bailiff, show the witnesses in. The
Hey,
witnesses...
ass butt.
You know what I like about my sounds is that people have their favorites, and they use them so much that I can usually tell who's coming into chat just by the sound they pick. And that one's definitely Diva. How you doing? How you doing, Diva? It's good to see you. How's your night going? Thank you for the ass butt. Love a good ass butt. And man, I'd still do so many things to see Ryunosuke in a trial against... Oh, the one from Professor Layton? That would be cool. I'm not going to lie. It would have been cool if Phoenix Wright like ran into Ryunosuke at some point too, but that's a spin-off I doubt we're going to get at anytime soon. But yes, welcome in, Diva. Welcome in. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. Tell me, how's your night going? What are you up to? And while you tell me, I'm going to read this in a really bad British accent. The witnesses whose proximity to the incident on the day in question will clarify the truth unequivocally. Was it the... Okay, I don't recognize either of them. Cool. I take it back. It's Lestrade. Great. Great, great. Good old Gina. Unless they do some spin-off logic shenanigans, I doubt they'd ever meet. That's what I'm saying, yeah. It'd be a crazy spin-off to do, but they did Layton versus Wright, so why not Wright and Naruhodo? Or Ryunosuke, or, you know. I knew you would know it's me. It's true. Mochi's is Zoidberg. Yours is Assbutt. Bougie's is O-Titties. Maple, I haven't seen in a long time, but she always used to use the honk. Like, you know, the goose honk. That was definitely her, but... Just got done watching some Supernatural Season 10, Episode 14. I'm gonna pull up a list whenever I stream of just... the episodes of each season, just so I can get an idea of where you're at plot-wise, but episode 14 sounds like you're getting close to the end of season 10, so still enjoying it? Still loving it, I hope? I mean, Layton versus Wright are both in the same continuity and era. No, I know they are, but like, Capcom, I don't know what's wrong with Capcom, they don't seem to have a lot of passion for their IPs that I guess aren't that big. Like, I feel like they gave up on Mega Man a long time ago. Phoenix Wright, it feels like they just kind of hit a wall and they don't want to really do much more. Like, I feel like releasing this game in America was them trying to gauge the interest in the market, but I don't know how well it did. I clearly bought it, but I don't know how many people actually did. There's a few more Capcom stuff out there that it just feels like they're kind of letting it go, which is really disappointing. Most I think Capcom could reasonably do is if Nick find an old portrait of... that would be cool. Like, somewhere in the next Phoenix Wright game, that would be pretty cool. I like it. But, like, interacting in the flesh might be a tall order, considering they're, like, 400 years apart. Is it 400 years apart? Are you sure it's not, like, 120? 140? Gonna go back to work tomorrow after being sick for a week? Well, that's good. I mean, I'm glad you're feeling well enough to go to work. Hopefully, whatever got you sick in the first place is not going to do a repeat performance. Like, I hope you stay healthy. And, yeah. I mean, if you enjoy your job, I hope you have a good time. I don't know. I know there's some people out there that really enjoy their job. I'm not one of them. A lot of people I know aren't one of them, but there are people that do it. So, more power to them, but ain't GAA set in the 1600s? I highly doubt that. Like, the invention of pictures... Like, the invention of pictures was only, like, maybe late 1800s, I think? I'm not sure. I'm not totally sure on the specifics of much, but I don't think this game takes place that far back. But yeah. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court to hear.
My name is Balthazar Loon. I am the impresario of all the hot air balloons in vicinity of the experimento stage.
My name is Wilhelm Gottschalk Sigismund Olmstein. I have come to see the great exhibition all the way from my homeland in Bohemia. I'm very rich. Inspector Gina Lestrade, Scotland Yard. I'm a great detective. Even Alex Sholmes agrees. I was on security duty at the exhibition, and I got to go up in one of them balloons. It was amazing. I'm gonna do her voice wrong. I can't get hers right. I don't know what it is about that frickin' woman. I cannot get her frickin' voice right, and it bothers me. Gina, again. Yep, good old Gina. Who enjoys their job? Well, nah, I just make good money, so yeah. That's why I do mine too, honestly. Hate it. Soul crushing. I only just logged off like an hour and a half ago. I only just logged off an hour and a half ago. But there was so much to do and so few people. You know how corporations like to fire people but not replace them, so you end up doing more work for the same amount of pay. It's really frustrating. That's what's wrong with capitalism. But that's a whole nother rant I don't really want to get into right now. I'm positive we're sometime around the 1800s. Yeah, I'd say so. Ace Attorney 1 is in 2016 or so. I don't know about that. Didn't Ace Attorney come out on the Game Boy Advance? It would have taken place in like, I don't know, whenever the Game Boy Advance was out, like 2000, early 2000s, I think. I'm not sure. Professor Layton 1 is in 2015. That one I don't know anything about. You could be right. I'm gonna take your word for it on that one. Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, but at least you're feeling better. That's the upside, right? That's all we can really ask for. My forehead looks giant when I'm this close. Look at that. Look at this 5 head. No, it's a 6 head. Anyway, yeah, but we have to take the DL6 incident in mind. The only stated year of the whole. Oh, I see. That's fair. I didn't think about that one, but I'll redo my math on that. Anyway, it's Gina. Hopefully I can get Gina's voice right. But she did mention that she'd seen the disaster from up in a balloon, actually, didn't she? And she clearly loved every minute of it. There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage when the incident occurred. 2 of these witnesses were in one such balloon at the time and saw events unfold from the skies above.
You make it sound like they were in the clouds. It was only an altitude of circa 60 feet. Very low.
Well, you can't see nothing if you fly too high, can you? I can't do that one. 60 feet, about 18 meters then.
Thank you for your introductions. Now, you will give your formal testimony for the court. Kindly describe exactly what you witnessed, especially those of you who had a vantage point above the stage.
Gotta always look up. Yep, especially in games where there's traps. December 28, 2001, Edgeworth was around 9. Okay. He was around 9, and then in the game he was 20, 21, I think? So that would have been 11, approximately 11 years later. So, yeah, 2012 or so, I think. Or was he 23? I forgot what age Edgeworth, started prosecuting. A 6 head? Yep, that's me. Giant 6 head. I was going to make a bad joke. I'm not going to do it, but it's fine. Witness testimony. The view from 60 feet up.
It was an incident. Terrible. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged.
There's this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second, another bang in the sky beside us. 2 bangs. She bang, dun dun dun. Oh, sorry. And from amidst the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere.
The cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower.
I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower. I'm never gonna get her voice right. I may as well just make her a robot. Fuck. We know in AA he's around 20-something. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was guesstimating. But yeah, if Edward was around 9 years and 21, that means... Is that when he started prosecuting 24? I thought he was like 20 or 21, but... It's been a long time since I played them, so I don't know the ages exactly. I have a huge forehead too, thanks to my birth dad. I'm sorry. At least we can relate on that front. I mean, I don't know if my forehead was from my dad or my mom, but I know I have, you can't see it because of the beard and the angle and the lighting, but I have a cleft chin, or, a butt chin, as people like to call it. That one I definitely got from my father's side. I don't think you'd be able to see it if I went close, but it's there. It's there. Trust me. It's been there for a long time. You can feel it. It's very defined. Not just that, but the DL6 incident was unsolved for 15 years, so there's only one conclusion. The case was archived for 21, left untouched until Nick manages to solve it. Alright, that's fair. That's... Okay, I was using Edgeworth's age, but that is a lot... Like, the statute of limitation was 15 years, so yeah, that makes sense. An ass butt chin? That's me. Ass butt chin. Oh my god. I had bullies in, like, elementary school and middle school and all that, who... I guess they weren't, like, the sharpest crayons in the box, but, like, just calling it a butt chin was the best they had, and I was like, that doesn't bother me as much as you might think it does. Because, not really a butt chin. I don't poop out of it. I don't have to wipe it. The worst that happened to it was I had to get stitches in it, because, well, that's a long story in itself. I don't know if you want to hear that, but, yeah, I had to get stitches in my chin, but that's about it. I don't know. It just didn't bother me, but then again, like, bullies at that age aren't very creative anyway, so. But yeah, definitely an ass butt chin. Chances are, if I ever have kids, they're going to be stuck with it too, but I'm not too worried about that.
A most extraordinary collective account, I must say.
Could I just clarify something? There's a detail in the witness's testimony that I've not heard any mention of until now. Specifically, that there were 2 explosions? More precisely, 2 explosions in 2 separate places, yes. Okay, yep. When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2 witnesses was around. Here. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time, carrying other passengers as well, to be clear. Then, as power was supplied to the machine for the demonstration, the first explosion occurred. The so-called birdcage that contained the victim disappeared from the stage, and a moment later, the second explosion occurred directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witnesses. The birdcage appeared at the site of the explosion, subsequently to plummet down into the Crystal Tower. I was very... Oh god, I did that. What voice did I get? It was a child. It was German. That's all I know. I was very surprised. Suddenly a cage appeared before my eyes with a person inside. The blast was so hot, but I didn't want to miss a thing, so I kept my eyes wide. Let me guess, you're very rich? I got the gist of this guy right away. I still have lots of money. Yeah, bullies aren't usually smart, so you had a crack in your ass butt chin? Sorry, that was sweet. That's the first time I've ever actually heard it put that way, but yes, I did have a crack in my ass butt chin. For a split moment, yeah. Yeah, but I wasn't pooping out of it, I was bleeding out of it, but that's... Oh my god. I've never heard it put that way. Thank you, Diva, for that little bit of information that will probably live rent-free in my head for a long time. A crack in my ass butt chin. I appreciate that.
Precisely who is this curious infant?
I'm told he is a young noble of Bohemian royalty. Apparently, he disguises himself in order to steal unnoticed into the Great Exhibition. Sure, I am here in London on a sightseeing trip with my elementary school. You will have the benefit of a child's point of view in the testimony. Do we really need that? When I remove the mask, this is what I look like.
Oh, yes, I see. A delightful face, I'm sure.
Yeah, everybody says so. Great disguise, then. The point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiates the facts for the court. Namely, that despite ending in an explosion, instantaneous kinesis was successfully demonstrated. And furthermore, that until the arrival of the police, no one approached the crystal tower where the victim fell. Therefore, only the accused, who was with Mr. Asman on the stage, could possibly have committed the murder.
Yes, thank you, counsel. The prosecution's views on the matter are quite clear. So, the defense's cross-examination now, please.
Yes, my lord. Cross-examination. The view from 60 feet up. Anyway, let's get caught up real quick. Wow, we started a weird conversation. Nah, we're just making fun of my ass butt chin. It's fine. Again, it doesn't bother me. In fact, it's very refined. Like, if I shave my beard off and people actually pay attention, it's like, I don't know, maybe if I like got fit and lost a bunch of weight, I'd look like a Chad or something. Just because I have this cleft chin or something. But it's part of who I am, so it's not a big deal. So the latest game in the AA series, being Spirits of Justice, is set around 2027. Okay, that's fair. I mean, I don't know if they mention the years in any other games, but if you're just counting like years between releases, then that would kind of make sense. All right, let's cross-examine.
Hold it!
There were 3 balloons flying above the experimentation stage at the time, I understand.
See, all 3 of them, my bellissimi bambini. They are very popular, signor. Some people will pay £10 for one ride.
£10? That's more than my annual stipend. £20 a month. That is my pocket money. Royals have all the luck. I got up there for free, I did. Played the old I work for Her Majesty's Police card, you know? Detectives have all the luck. If they're so popular, why would you only be operating such a small number of balloons, though?
Because if I have too many in disguise, they could crash into each other.
That was terrible Italian. I apologize in advance. The operators for the balloons were decided by lots, with each operator manning a particular area.
See, and the zone above public experimentation stage is the most profitable. The other impresarios, they hate me. Thank you, witness. I think the court has a clear picture of the arrangements for balloon rides at the exhibition. Perhaps we could hear more about what you actually witnessed of the incident.
Right, I can fill you in there, my lord. Nope, the only concrete year we got is DL6. I'm mostly just deducing years based on context. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'll take it. If you're doing the math on it, I'm going to take your word for it right now. Is there any fighting in this game, or... Well, it's a lot of talking. It's a visual novel, so it's going to be mostly talking. It's pretty much all talking. Not a lot of fighting, but shit happens, you know, in between where, you know, stuff will happen to one character, and then some other characters might do stuff, but it's a visual novel, so it's just a ton of talking. If you want to see fighting, I did stream Final Fantasy XIV and Deathloop yesterday. A lot more fighting in that one, trust me. But yeah, Ace Attorney Nights, it's just pretty much all talking. I apologize. Let's hear about the bangs.
Hold it!
1 bang, 2 bang, dun dun dun. Sorry, I keep doing that. I don't know why. Oh, I thought it was kind of like Final Fantasy. You thought this was like Final Fantasy? Not at all. No, very different. Very different. It's all... My hair's so messy, I apologize. No, this is all just... It's clearly a game about just being a lawyer in court, so it's mostly talking. And it's not a fun court, like She-Hulk in court. Which, by the way, I don't know if any of you enjoy Marvel as much as I do, but I watched the first 2 episodes of She-Hulk, and I am enjoying it so far. It's pretty awesome. Now that's a lawyer I can get behind. I was gonna make a butt joke, but I couldn't come up with one. Ha! You see that? But I couldn't come up with one. I am so clever. I'm not clever. So you actually saw the accident happen from up in the air? Granted, the profiles on the game conflict with the dates of the game. The fact that they leave everything so ambiguous kind of just... I think it allows them a little bit more freedom to play with whatever they need to do in the game, you know? Just some of the characters look like some of the characters in Final Fantasy. That's true. William Shamspeare did kind of look like Kefka. So, I get what you're saying. I can also see some of these looking a bit like Balloon Dude over there. Like, freaking... Where is he? This dude? Yeah, I could see him as a Final Fantasy character as well. Really? Shifty eyes. According to Trials and Tribulations, Nick is 26, but in Dual Destinies, 2027, Nick is 34. Hey, I'm almost 34. Anyway. Yep, isn't it amazing what a detective gets to do, eh? I'm telling you, Otto, being a lawyer's a mug's game. You should join the force and we can go flying together. You know me so well. Yes, well, anyway, could you tell us exactly what you saw, do you think? Everything! We saw everything because we were up above it all. That dodgy cove climbing into that cage and that dodgy professor pulling all them levers. And that's when it happened. That's when there was that massive bang and the cage disappeared just like that. You are describing the moment the subject's body was decomposed by the electricity, I believe. I didn't know what to make of it, but then there was another bang right in me ear. I looked round and there was a huge great fireball right next to us in the sky.
That's Peter.
And there was nothing there before. Please, little German, tell me what you're thinking.
Excuse me.
The game gets Nick's age wrong by a year, unless Nick is still yet to have his birthday, which could be the fair. Because, you know, all of us are still the same age going into the new year until we hit our birthday. I get it. Like, legally, Nick is 34 and he's turning 35. Well, damn, I still got 2 years to go then. Master Gots, does your memory of the day differ? My teacher at the elementary school said that when you meet someone for the first time, you should always use their full name. Yeah, what was it again? Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund Ornstein. Just the 4 names, then? The point is, do you have something to say? Something to add in response to Detective Gina Lestrade's last remark, perhaps? I'm just want to call her Gina. I don't... It reminds me of an old Mad TV sketch from a long time ago. I think, it was... I forgot the actress's name, but she was, like, the news personality on Parks and Rec. But I think she played a character, people kept trying to say her name was Gina, but she corrects them every time and goes, no, it's Gina! I don't know, it reminds me of that for some reason. It's really funny. Mad TV was great. I missed that. If that's the case, that means Nick and Miles both shared the birth year. I assume they would, considering they went to school together and they were in the same grade, so... No, wait, never mind, I scrambled the numbers. I'm surprised you're doing math so late at night, though. More power to you, that guy. Oi! Get it right, Otto! It's Inspector Lestrade! Why does everyone have a problem with how I address them at the moment? That is not what I saw. Oh? Yeah, there was a second explosion, and it was right beside our balloon, that is true. But I'm sure... Which is what I said, isn't it? 1 minute there was nothing. 1 minute there was nothing there, next a massive explosion. My teacher at elementary school said that when someone else is speaking, if you are rude enough to interrupt, you will have the most awful life imaginable. Are all Bohemians brought up to be so full of joy? Still got money? Oh, no, okay. Just before the second explosion happened next to our balloon, I clearly witnessed a green balloon flying in the sky. A green balloon? Eh? You what? I never saw nothing like that. Well, I did. I saw it, and you can't say I didn't. I will complain to the council. I will cry and scream. My testimony is the truth. I am Bohemian Prince. You cannot say it is a lie. That is not allowed. Playing the bleeding royalty card, are you? Typical. DRC, thank you so much for the raid, sir. I appreciate it. Welcome back in, Pablo. Hello again to you, too. How is your night going, Pablo? DRC, how did the rest of Sonic go? Let me give you a quick shout-out. DR console. And Spooker. Spooker, welcome back. How are you guys? How was the rest of Sonic? How far did you get? Did you finish the dark side? I don't know why I want to say evil side. Probably because it is the evil side, but... Diva said I suck at math. That guy says Miles is apparently 24. And I suck at math too when I'm off the clock. When I'm getting paid to do it, then I'm better at math. But there's a big difference. So, not getting paid, bad at math. Miles is apparently 24 in 2016, but he's 34 in 2027. You're doing a lot of deep diving on that guy, but good for you, buddy. It's interesting to see where it goes. Doing well, thanks. Sleepy, though, so just stopped by to say hi. All right, well, I appreciate that. Thank you for stopping by. If you head to bed soon, that's awesome. I hope you get some good sleep, and you'll drop back in sometime in the future. Yes, I finished the dank. Dude, I'm so glad you finished the dank. Now we can both be high as a kite. I'm a moron. I'm sorry. I'm a fucking idiot. But good job. Now I assume you're on the combo part at the end. But yeah, I really like the part where they have to like work together and stuff. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's cliche, but you know, it is what it is. There's a lot of cliche in stories these days, but it's just because so many stories have been out that it's hard to avoid. It is kind of hard to avoid, but it's okay. What a weirdo. Me? How dare you? Yeah, I'm weird. No, it's true. I'm not even going to take offense to it. But weird is more interesting than normal. Although, normal can be interesting too, but normal usually implies a sort of predictability. There we go. That's what I want to say. Normal is kind of predictable. Weird is at least interesting. So thank you for the compliment, Diva, if you meant it that way. I think you did. But anyway, moving on. So Ace Attorney's 2013. TT is in 2018. 5-year difference. Minimum should be 29 by TT. Well, should be 38 by DD. Which one's TT? Trials, Tribulations? Because there's Dual Destinies. Then Spirits of Justice. I forget the... You do the math. I'm going to rely on you. Trials and Tribulations. Okay, that's what I thought. What is normal? Oh, man, Diva. Sorry. I was looking around for my skull so I could hold it up and be like, what is normal? To be or not to be? Do we really want to philosophize right now? I have a murder to solve. But, yeah, normal is just predictable, I think. Okay, let me give you the timeline. You're more than welcome to share, buddy. If you have solved this mathematical equation, I am down to hear it. For Diva, yeah, normal. I don't know what normal is anymore. Normal changes a lot. It's changed a lot in the past, like, 20 years, so it's hard to say for sure. But you have a skull just laying around? No, I was exaggerating for dramatic purposes. I was looking around my room pretending that I had a skull I needed to find. I definitely don't have a skull right down there. I swear. Don't look. I don't. If anything, the weirdest thing I have in my room is my you ever watch Samurai Champloo? I do have a cosplay of Jin. That's about it. That is the weirdest thing in my room, yeah. Definitely not my giant Dragon. Dildo. That definitely doesn't exist. This is a safe space. No judging! Dramatic effect. Yes, exactly. I am nothing if not dramatic. I love the flair. Anyway, says the orphan who likes to remind people she works for Her Majesty's Police. Wait, I forgot what she said. Whatever. Moving on.
In that case, young man, I must ask you to amend your formal testimony. In the interest of cordial national relations between Great Britain and Bohemia...
Oh, I thought there was more to that sentence. Apparently not. It was not the sky that exploded, it was a green balloon that was next to ours at the time. Why is that important? I mean, I know what I have already that proves that that is true, but why does that matter? Anyway. Giant dragon, what? I want to hear. Do you know what? It's, I think, did I say giant dragon? I meant to say bad dragon. And if you Google bad dragon, you might be able to find out, but I am not condoning that Google search because I am not responsible for what you see. Not responsible. No one should Google that. For legal purposes, no one should Google that. My husband has a giant Shenron from Dragon Ball Z. That's cool. Not the same thing. Google Shenron instead of Bad Dragon. Do not Google that. In fact, I'm going to stop saying it. No. No more. You guys are going to get me in trouble. I'm going to get me in trouble. Am I banned from Twitch yet? Okay, so we all know DL6 happened in 2001 and it's been closed for 15 years. That means Nick became a full lawyer by 2016 by going with simple math. Okay, willing to accept that. 15-year statute limitations. It was about to close, so yeah, 2016. That's the only solid date that so far I've been able to comprehend. A green balloon, you say? Are you sure about that? Of course I am sure. I am the proud Bohemian prince. All these questions are making me boring. I think you mean bored? Ah, English is very annoying. The language of my countrymen is far superior.
Ragazzo, it is very wrong to lie.
Lie?
Flying balloons never explode, for the same reason the planets never explode. It is logical.
Please tell me that doesn't mean logical.
If you insult me, you insult all of Bohemia.
Madai!
I will have the army come and shoot all of your stupid balloons out of the sky. All of them!
Hey, as long as he's got money.
Here you are, your highness.
I can't nail his voice either, but at least I'm closer with that than Gina. I don't want to know I have an innocent mind. Good for you. Try to keep that as long as possible, because I definitely don't. I used to have, like, models of stuff, but I gave one away to a friend. Well, it's really, like, the only model. Well, no. I had a couple. Some are still in my trunk, but I gave my favorite model away to a good friend who helped me out. We don't keep in touch that much anymore, but she was really nice, so, you know, I wanted her to have a memento, so to speak. If only all international incidents were so easily resolved. Now that peaceful relations have been restored here in the courtroom, perhaps we could return to the testimony? Did you also see the moment that the cage materialized, Mr. Loon?
No, I did not see the explosion myself, however.
Maybe I'll make him French. I know he's Italian, but French, I don't know, the French accent kind of seems easier? I have no idea. Anyway, I know what I'm going to present to the kid if nothing else important comes up.
Hold it!
Anyway. So, Greg Edgeworth dies in 2001, Manfred takes Miles in, Miles becomes a prosecutor and has his first trial in 2011 based on AA investigations. Okay. And that, I'm assuming that time was referenced in investigations, so it's a canonical fact. Did you see that actually happen? No. In reality, I did not. I saw it after it hit the tower. There was a grande confusione around the stage. I ran to see what happened. I was terrorized by the idea that one of my balloons had crashed. Suppose they are his livelihood. Wait, what did you just say? After it hit the tower. Okay. I don't know why I just read that without registering anything he said. But when I looked up to the sky, all my precious balloons were still there. I saw it though. I saw it slam into the tower. After all, I'm a detective now. I can't do Gina. Gina's not mine. Not referenced by date, but with some deduction we can get to that conclusion. Look at you being all deductive, that guy. That's funny. Anyways, awkwardly change the subject. Hey, I'm a firm believer that things are only awkward if you let them be awkward. If you charge in head first, recklessly, without thinking of the consequences, nothing's awkward. Well, it still could be awkward. But if you don't feel it, it's not there, right? We were talking about Harry Potter the last time I was here. Oh yeah, the spoilers, I think. Or those guys who really like to spoil them. Oh man. Those guys that spoiled Book 6. Oh, I hope they're burning in hell. I love Harry Potter. I am a Hufflepuff. Ironically enough, tomorrow is mine and my roommate's annual Harry Potter Munchkin Day. It's always September 1st because there's a card in that deck that lets you win the game if it's September 1st, and it's a Hogwarts Express card, and it can only be used on September 1st, so we were like, why don't we just play this once a year? September 1st, so that'll be fun. Looking forward to that. But, me personally, I am a Ravenclaw. Definitely Ravenclaw. Which, you know, I tested for it on the website and all, but I just like Ravenclaw the best. Because I like birds. I think I'm smart. I mean, I like to pretend I'm smart. But, yeah, I just like Ravenclaw the best. What can I say? Although my Patronus is something weird. I forget, it was like a weasel or something? I have no idea. It was very disappointing. I'm so disappointed that, like, the new Hogwarts Legacy game that takes place, you know, like 100 years in the past, there's a big, like, outcry to not buy it because, you know, J.K. Rowling's is very transphobic. So, I don't know, the game looks really good, but at the same time, like, it's true that I don't want to support that kind of thing, you know? I'm a very, like, let people live their lives kind of mindset. Like, if it's not impacting you, just, what does it matter? Let them be who they want to be. Turnabout Reminiscence is the first trial of Miles as a prosecutor, so that means Miles has been really wanted here since Nick got his badge by 2013. No, wait, mixed up. 2013 was when Nick met Dahlia. Really? Oh, you're just going based off the established 2001 to 16, 15-year time period. Got it. See, I knew that before you were a Ravenclaw, before you told me I'm that good. Really? Really, what gave it away? What gave away that I was a Ravenclaw? I feel like, I don't know. It probably goes like Ravenclaw, Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Slytherin, I think, in my opinion. But I'm curious what gave it away for you then. And you love being a Hufflepuff? I would too. I mean, if I was sorted into that house, I'd probably enjoy it as well, because it seems very, you know, happy, carefree, aloof. Like, you just kind of enjoy life for what it is, or what you find, you know? As opposed to, like, Ravenclaws, where it's like, it's a lot of curiosity. It's kind of like exploring and finding things that pique your interest, and then just following it down, you know? I don't know. That's the way I see it, though. I could be it could be a different interpretation for everyone that reads it, but that's the beauty of stories, isn't it? You guys do realize that JK only gets a small percent of that cash, right? I don't know. I don't know how the cash works. I just know that there's currently pushes to like boycott for that reason. That money is split between like 9 parties and JK. I would imagine so. I'm not saying she gets all of it, obviously, but she's only going to get cents off those cash. That's true. Anyway, I will now never talk about Harry Potter ever again. I don't know if you're saying that because you don't like it or because you're trying to hide some kind of fandom for it, but either way, you do what makes you happy, that guy. My husband is a Ravenclaw, so I live with a Ravenclaw. I know how they act. That's... okay. I'm... considering what's gone down recently, I don't know if I'm that stoked to be compared, but I know you're just talking about Ravenclaw traits, so I'm going to go ahead and just accept that, yes, you probably do know a lot about Ravenclaws then. You know how they act. I will believe that. I will absolutely believe it. I dislike it. I only know about the outside perspective, and even then I find it kind of dumb, but then again, you're talking to the guy who's actively doing math to set a timeline for Ace Attorney. That's true. That is absolutely true. I do know that I do see what's going on, but it's okay. Did I offend you? No, I don't think she was talking to you. I think she was talking to me, but that's because I know he's not being the greatest husband right now, just to kind of put it gently. But putting that aside, I can see why you'd know Ravenclaw tendencies when you see them. But please, continue your timeline. If you dislike it, that's cool. Totally fine. People are always allowed to like what they like and dislike what they don't like. In fact, for me, my unpopular opinion is that I didn't like Lord of the Rings. I don't know. It was so... maybe I just tried to understand it when I wasn't quite at full brain capacity or something, but there was just like a lot going on, a lot of things to follow, and a lot of walking. Like, I was supposed to read the first book in high school for English class, and I got to like halfway through the book in my defense. But eventually, there was like... I had just read like a whole chapter describing them walking. And I get that they have to go on a long journey, and it makes sense, but it got so boring, and I was just like, I'm good. I don't need to finish this book. I passed the class still, because, you know, there's cliff notes that existed, so you could always find just the quick summaries, but I don't know. Even the movies had a lot of walking, but never watched Lord of the Rings. At the time, I was too caught up with Star Wars. I like Star Wars. Not a big fan of Lord of the Rings. Do love Star Wars. Although, if I will admittedly say, if I was like interested in a girl and she was like, "Watch Lord of the Rings with me," I would, you know, I would suck it up and be like, "All right, yeah, let's watch Lord of the Rings." Like, it's not like I hate it. I just, not for me, you know. Tolkien is a very based writer, though. I love the way he world builds. He did a lot of world building, but maybe like mix it up a bit. Build some world, put in some action, build some world. Instead, he did like a whole chapter on just walking through this whole world, and I was like, I walk every day. Come on. Anyway, that's just... sorry. I could go on and on about this, but we have a game to play. Didn't mean it that way, more so the vibe I got from you. Sorry. No, you don't have to apologize. It's okay. Totally. I wasn't offended at all. You're good, Diva. You're fine. You're totally chill. We're all good. Chill. So 2013, Mia gets her badge. It's her first 2 trials. Nick gets mixed up with Dahlia, and Nick then gets inspired to join law school. 3 years later, Nick gets his badge. Damn, law school over there only takes 3 years? What am I doing over here? Love both Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. more power to you. Absolutely. I mean, as you can tell, I'm not totally opposed to Lord of the Rings. I mean, my screen name, the last name of my screen name is Evenstar. I don't even think I'm pronouncing that right, honestly, but I could tell you how I got my screen name. It was when I started a Death Knight in World of Warcraft, I wanted a character with a cool name. An allegory popped into my head because I was like, if I become this legendary hero and all his name was allegory, you know, he could become a story that anyone can take lessons from. You know, that seemed like a kind of cool circle that comes in on itself. And then I played a game called EVE Online for a while, and then that's the first game I ever played where your MMO character had to have a last name. And I was like, okay, well, if I give Allegory a last name, it has to be something that sounds both fantastical for fantasy and sci-fi for, you know, space and whatnot. And I was like, I found the word Evenstar, and I was like, perfect. Fantastical from Lord of the Rings, and just because it has the word star in it, it has a sci-fi vibe to it. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Anyway. It's your name, you can't pronounce it. Evenstar, I get it. It's not Evenstar, it's Evenstar, but Evenstar just comes to mind first. I'm just used to it by now. We all know what happens in Ace Attorney 1, so 2017 happens. Justice for All, since Nick mentions it's been not long since A1, so 1 to 2 years roughly. Same rule applies to Trials and Tribulations being around 2018. Fair enough. Fair estimation, I'll agree. And tell us what you saw, Inspector Lestrade. That's what I like. Oh, I jumped right into German. I don't know, I see this little kid, I'm just like, let's go German! I really like my German accent, I don't know. I'm still working on it. But, I'll pull that out whenever you're around for a stream, that guy that I'm not doing voices for. Yeah, uh-huh, sure. Pfft, doubt me all you want, Diva. That's how it is. Evenstar. It's just what I'm used to. Retroactively, it circles back to Nick meeting Dahlia since the game states that trial happened 6 years ago. Oh, so does it causes some kind of, like, temporal paradox? Like, it says it happened 6 years ago, but it only happened, like, 4 years ago or something? Is that what you're saying? Interesting. That's what I like to hear! Maybe I'll just do that. Maybe that can be your voice. I didn't get looked up and all went near it after crashed to the tower.
Hold it!
Was it you who gave the order to keep people away? Eh? Use your head, Otto. How could it have been me? I was up in a balloon, weren't I? Right. So cause I weren't available, it was the boss who had to leg it over there. He was getting shoved and kicked all over by the panicking spectators as he tried to seal off the scene. It was a real sight to behold, I can tell you. Amazing. Poor Inspector Gregson. So anyway, I couldn't see the cage that well because of all the smoke. And I didn't really want to see, to be honest. I was scared out me wits. Keep it together, Inspector. The prosecution really is asserting that the demonstration was genuine. But what if it was actually some kind of switch-around trick instead? You telling me maybe a wax statue went somewhere? That would mean that the victim was never actually on the stage in the first place. The 2 explosions would have thrown everyone watching into a panic for sure. I think I need to find out more about what exactly people saw at the time. Dun, 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 dun. Oh. Alright, I'm gonna save here and present the thing. Because I'm save scum. Not paradox, it's just stating that we get the year Dahlia Nick met being 2013 because of trials and tribulations. Okay. Fair enough. Hey, don't get all sassy on me, that's my job, it's in my name. You can speak to my friends, there are times when I get sassy. So, you know. No, I can't do that well. I'm embarrassed I tried, but you know what, I own it, because I'm an embarrassing person. But if it's not sass, it's sarcasm. One or the other, mostly, you know? Like, oh, you don't say. TT happens in 1819, and it says, here's a story that happened 6 years ago, so Yeah, 1213. 1819 is also a year that links both A and game, since we can't find Nick and the gang in the background of various investigation sequences, mean both game happens simultaneously. I see. I'll teach you how to do that better. If anyone can, it's gonna be Diva Kitty. I bet. You are more than welcome to school me in the sass snap, you know. Alright, let's show this thing, because yeah.
Objection!
Nope. Music didn't stop. The defense would have to object, blah 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 blah. I'd have to overrule your objection. The defense would have to accept the penalty. Glad to hear it. And you'd also have to think again. Alright, let's go back over my evidence. Do I present this then? I am not sure on this one, I'm gonna be honest. Ah, screw it.
Objection!
I saved, I can just reload. I'm scum. I'm scum. Okay.
Hold it!
No, I didn't. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna listen to this again. Green balloon. Sure about that? Of course. Probably blah 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 blah. I mean bored. English, whatever. Very wrong to lie. Flying balloons never explode for the same reason the plants never explode. It's logic. You insult me, you insult all of Bohemia. Okay, okay, okay. He has fire in his hat. Anyone have any idea on what to do here? Because that's the testimony that was added halfway through, which usually means it's got some kind of importance, but I don't know what that could mean. Photographic print of the victim taken after he had ostensibly been beamed to the Crystal Tower, which shows an apparent stab wound to the chest. That kid is so spoiled for me, getting a balloon every time he gets mad. Well, he did say he is very rich. Very, very rich. He is a prince. He is the Prince of Bohemia, which I think Queen wrote a whole rhapsody about, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, sounds about right. Maybe it's not at this one. Wait, let's press this again, because she's the one who got interrupted by the kid. I don't know what I'm telling you, auto bin wars. Yep. Yep. You're above it all. That dodgy cove climbing into the cage and that dodgy professor pulling on them levers. That's when it happened, that's when there was a massive bang. The cage disappeared. Yep. I didn't know what to make of it, but then there was another bang right in my ear. I looked around and there was a huge great fireball right next to us in the sky. There was nothing there before. And what appears out the flames? The cage, that's what.
And that description sounds like the moment the man was beamed instantaneously through space.
It's mind-blowing, isn't it? But that's what the 20th century for ya, I reckon. People actually saw the demonstration with their own eyes. Really believe they saw something miraculous taking place. I am missing something here. I think he deserves a spanking. I'm literally biting my tongue. But hey, if you want to spank him, you're more than welcome to. You're going to start a war with the Prince of Bohemia, so just be careful with that, maybe. Or you can just take all his money from him, as a, you know, as a good parent. I guess I was going to say he gets 20 pounds a week as pocket money, or 20 pounds a month. That's a lot of money back then, right? But yeah, if you want to discipline him, that's all you, Diva. This kid's ready to send the army after people. I meant to go this way. What am I missing? So now we go to 2019-2020, where the events of UR1 happens, meaning the murder of Metis Sykes at the CSC happens sometime before Apollo's game. Okay. Makes sense so far. Biting your tongue. Yeah, I thought it was just a phrase for a while until I realized there are times when, like, people say stuff and I just kind of, like, instinctively just, nope. At least that means my filter's working, though, right? Like, somewhere in here I do have a filter. The cage, it fell from the sky like a stone, crashed into the crystal tower. What am I... Alright, I need a hint. I'm gonna pull up a hint. I need a hint, cause I am dumb, blah, 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 blah. Which one? Oh, this part. Oh, I'm stupid. There, oh my god, I completely missed that. The kid said a green balloon exploded, but then this guy's like, he's grateful that none of my balloons were damaged. I'm an idiot. We can deduce Apollo Justice AA said around 2025-26 based on Nick's age and when he lost his badge. Nick lost his badge when he was 32-33 and got it back when he was 34, so Apollo AA can only happen around 25-26. That seems like a large jump between... I didn't do that. I didn't do that. Yeah, that's a lot of years between, like, 2019 and Apollo. Like 6 years, jeez. Maybe that's fine though. Maybe that's just part of the story. Anyway, let's present. Alright, first I gotta put my cursor back on here. There we go.
Objection.
Can't believe I missed that. I am an idiot. I am blind. Where is my emote? Hold on. Here it is. La da 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 da. That's what I'm feeling right now. Mr. Loon, in your testimony, you said that all 3 of the balloons you had operating at the time were undamaged.
Si, that is correct. If they had been caught in the explosiones, it would have been terrible.
I wonder if you might know what this is.
Ah, I think it may be... Si, part of a balloon. A burnt piece of the fabric of the envelope.
Sorry, the envelope?
Pardon. That is the large round part of the balloon which becomes filled with hot air. It is made from very thick fabric lined with rubber. You do not want it to rip when you are in the sky.
Just as I thought. This piece of cloth was found near the experimentation stage. In other words, as Master Gotts testified, a green balloon did indeed explode that day.
Huh?
If all the balloons in the sky above the experimentation stage belong to you, Mr. Loon, then your statement that they were all undamaged clearly contradicts the evidence.
No!
Ah, it's the same balloon. That's funny. If the balloon exploded that day, why didn't the man say so? Maybe everyone on board was killed. Oh no, having just spent 10 whole pounds for the experience? How awful. Seems to me like those things crash 50% of the time anyway.
Objection.
Nick's profile states he's 32-33 depending on the trial, and according to the judge, the trial where Nick lost his badge didn't happen long ago, so the piece of the puzzle only snaps around that time. Okay, fair enough. That does make sense. The instantaneous kinesis did occur, but after the explosion on the stage, the point of materialization shifted to a location occupied by a balloon.
Causing the balloon to explode? Yes, eminently plausible.
An unfortunate traffic accident, as it were, but it changes nothing about the pertinent facts. This I cannot accept! Why not, Mr. Loon? You are suggesting that I am a liar. That person's died in a balloon incidente. There's no need to get fired up, Mr. Loon. The victim was the sole fatality that day. That's right, and I prove it. Balthazar Lune is not a liar. There was no such balloon in the sky. It is non possible. Possible. Wow, I pronounced that terribly. I'm just doing a bang-up job of how bad this is. So 22, 26, 27 is when DD happens. Athena gets her badge and recruited by Nick's agency, also according to DD. That Sykes died 7 years ago, so with some simple math we go from 6 to 7 to 1920. Okay. That gap does make a bit more sense. You're saying it's impossible. Why? Whoops. This court has more important matters to discuss than the number of balloons that were operating that day. Aye.
Objection.
But we can't ignore the fact that nobody appears to have known anything about this other balloon until now. My lord, the defense calls for further testimony from Mr. Loon.
I concur. There is clearly more to the truth here than meets the eye.
Like Transformers.
It's imperative that we clear up the issue of this phantom balloon, I feel. Witness, you will give supplementary testimony about the balloons you were operating at the exhibition.
Ah, grazie, my lord. I think I found his voice. It's an odd one, but we found it. We also can further corroborate the year of DD and Apollo based on Apollo's age. Canonically, he's 33 in his own game and 34 in DD, meaning Nick only lost his badge for the time gap of 2 to 3 years. Again, that does line up, that does make sense. Although, I didn't realize Apollo was so close to Phoenix in age. I thought Apollo was like early 20s. But, what was I doing? Witness testimony, Mr. Loon's balloons. As I said, Balthazar Lune is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an esplosione, what a catastrophe. But you can't get away from the fact that a burnt-up bit of cloth was found at the scene, can ya? The coppers at the yard reckoned it was probably some debris thrown from the explosion on the stage. This stupido ragazzo is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway. So there was a mysterious 3rd balloon.
So your assertion is that the balloon this child saw was not one belonging to you?
Si, exactamente. If he even saw a balloon in the first place. I do not like the sound of it. It is very bad for business. I have a good mind to sue the land of Bohemia. If you attack us, we will fight back. It will be war, all-out war. As long as there's money involved, everything's fine. What happened to all-out war? Yeah, it's kind of surprising knowing Apollo was that old. The years were surely kind of... No, wait, you mixed your numbers up? Okay. I'll let you fix them. Mr. Lune certainly doesn't appear to be lying, but that doesn't change the fact that the testimony and evidence are contradictory here. If the defense is unable to find fault with the witness's statements, the court must consider them the truth. Think long and hard on that, my learned friend. The situation has clearly changed now. I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes.
Counsel, you may now cross-examine the witnesses.
Cross-examination, Mr. Luna's balloons. Alright.
Hold it!
Where was your 3rd balloon then? You couldn't just have forgotten one, maybe? Signor, I might not notice if I was given 100 lentils and one was missing. But we are talking about 3 enormous balloons. Do you believe I could make a mistake about something so grande and expensive? I took the liberty of having Inspector Gregson check this gentleman's warehouse. I have the report here. It clearly says a total of 3 balloons.
It would appear no mistake has been made, then.
Surely Miss Lestrade could have been sent for such a menial task. What? Me? I'll tell you what I told the boss. East End kids like me can only count up to 2. That's not a strong point of your detective life career. Cut 10 years off those. Apollo's 10 years. There we go. I'll let you keep going. Obviously, that ain't true. But the boss bought it and said he'd have a go himself in that case.
Hold it!
Alright. It would be quite a catastrophe if they fell to the ground for any reason, I think. On that note, Mr. Lune, tell me, what is it that keeps these balloons in the sky? Are you an idiota? Sorry. That is like asking, why does a candle burn bright? It burns bright because it burns bright. And a balloon flies because it flies. What else? That must be Italian for, I don't know. There are 2 types of flying balloons, hot air balloons and gas balloons. Hot air balloons work on the principle of hot air being less dense than cold air, whereas gas balloons derive their lift by using a gas that is lighter than air. See, and my balloons are filled with the magic gas, I believe. That would explain why it was so flammable, but I don't know. Hydrogen, lighter than air, but highly explosive.
Good lord.
I do not permit smoking of the cigarettes in any of my balloons. The magic gas does not like fire. Even a small spark of static electricity could cause the entire balloon to explode. What is the matter with you, senor? All that comes out of your mouth is explosion, explosion! I tell you, my balloons are perfectly safe. They have to be, or I cannot eat. None of my balloons exploded that day, I'm completely sure. But if you still say that is what happened, you must show me the proof. Alright, so Mr. Lune had 3 balloons in the air that day. If none of them were damaged, then what was the one that exploded? I like how he kind of looks into the camera like, Doesn't finally arrive at associate. Okay, keep going. And finally... So Apollo's 24-25 by Dual Destinies. Alright. That makes sense.
Hold it!
I was surprised to find the piece of fabric still at the scene, actually. Didn't you search the area surrounding the stage for clues? Nah, I'm not into picking stuff up off the I'm not into picking stuff off Gina, why are you making my mouth do weird things? I'm not into picking stuff up off the ground, me. Always works out way better diving into people's pockets instead. So much for the new career path. Hey, that's what I said a second ago. Mind you, the boss was on his hands and knees picking up all kinds of rubbish from the floor. Thing is, though, the cage went crashing into the Crystal Tower, didn't it? So that's where most of the investigating was going on. Even so, I would have thought someone from Scotland Yard would have gathered it up as evidence. Cole, listen to you. You stumble across a bit of balloon and suddenly you're the best investigator in the world. Pardon? Well, you ain't got a badge, have you? Like this one. I could arrest you with this if I wanted to. I wouldn't put it past her. Come to think of it, there was talk of some scorching on the ground at a meeting we had about the investigation. Copies of the yard reckon probably somebody. Okay, please elaborate on that. Hey, Aladici, how you doing? Welcome in. Thank you for tuning in and chatting with us. How is your day, morning, afternoon, evening going, sir? How are you doing? Have you played Great Ace Attorney before? Hello, well, my timeline draws to a close. Athena was 22 by DD and her mom died 6 years ago, meaning she was 16 during that incident. I suppose that makes sense. Yeah. Well, look at that guy. You spent your night productively putting together the entire Phoenix Wright timeline. I'm proud of you, buddy. Working them brain muscles. I wouldn't have been able to do that because I don't remember a lot of the dates. I'm assuming you're Googling a lot of these dates. Well, I didn't slap the GAA numbers. You don't have to. This game takes place a long time ago. I don't think I've seen a single year referenced yet, but sick at home, so catching up on streams of my game of the year from last year. Well, first off, I'm sorry you're sick. I hope you get better soon. Make sure to get lots of rest and water and all that stuff. Take your medicine. You know, just get better. Get better soon. Second, I assume you're talking about this game here? This was your game of the year from last year? Because I remember playing, well, I played the first one last year when I got it, and then this year I was kind of like, well, it's been a while, may as well get back into it. Especially since I miss doing all the, you know, all the voices. It's fun. But you really like this entry into the Ace Attorney? Are you a big Ace Attorney fan overall, or is it just this one? Let me see if I can find any set dates referenced there, based on world technology, sometime around 1800 something. Yeah, I would assume that too. Like, I'm assuming late 1800s. It's in the Meiji period and the Victorian age. Hey, if you can pinpoint a date somewhere in this, I would love to know, because the stuff that, you know, Shomes is coming up with, it's really advanced, I think. Especially for someone that just figured out what photographs are. Played all the games, yeah. This collection is your favorite? Very cool. Very cool. Well, I'm glad I can stream something that is someone's favorite. Absolutely. I hope I'm doing it justice, even though I fucked up before. I had to look up help for one thing because I just was blind. I missed it. But that's awesome. I'm glad that you really enjoy this collection. I'm a big Ace Attorney fan as well. I've played all the other ones also, but I'm just kind of sad that they don't seem to be making any more of them, you know? Like, it's such a wasted IP at that point. Kind of like, well, they haven't given up on it like Konami gave up on Silent Hills, or Silent Hill in general, but hopefully they revisit this and come out with, you know, whatever the sequel to, was it Spirits of Justice is? Spirits of Justice. I know I said that sentence terribly. Trust me, though, I do speak English. It's just bad sometimes. I mean, I need a proper year to pinpoint it. I can get some rough estimates, but I need something more concrete. I agree, but yeah, I have yet to see any year displayed in this game. Maybe we'll see one coming up, but there was considerable damage to the stage and surrounding area, wasn't there? Yeah, some of the coves what were watching the experiment were caught in the blast and injured. Good job the old contraption didn't keel over, eh? I hadn't even considered that. It seems there was great panic after the incident occurred. Nevertheless, the police shouldn't have missed a torn piece of the envelope from a balloon. Inspector Gregson can expect repercussions. Like me swiping all his fish and chips, eh? Man's sole pleasure. None of this matters. That scrap of balloon envelope means nothing. Niente. Stupid Orgazzo was mistaken. My balloons had the red and blue zip.
Hold it!
He's not wrong. I see it on the thing in his hat. We're somewhere between 1901 and 2000. Well, that much I could have figured out, I think. At the very least. Sorry, back doing a few chores. That's cool, Diva. Take your time. Go to get stuff done. You're being productive, and that's a good thing. It's always good to be productive. I haven't been productive today. I have a bill to pay, and I still haven't done it. Maybe tomorrow, though. We'll see. TGS is happening soon, so who knows, but there are 11 games, so I'm fine with moving on. Would rather get something new from the dev team, like Ghost Trick. What's Ghost Trick? Is that... Is it? Are you saying like the dev team that does Phoenix Wright usually is coming out with something like called Ghost Trick? Can you check Reno's? Yeah. Hold on. Court people. No, I can't. I can't show you the profile. This guy's gotta be bad, right? He's gotta be bad. Yeah, there's no profile for Ryunosuke here. Oh, there's Witch Mommy. Don't tell me she's the actual person who killed. I love her already. I want a new Rhythm Thief. What the hell's Rhythm Thief? You guys are mentioning all these games I feel like I haven't heard of. Am I that out of the loop these days? Holy crap. That reminds me, I gotta pay a bill still, but gotta pay rent, damn it. Yeah, I just did that, which is why this one's kind of waiting till future payment. Okay, let me Google it then. 23. He's 23 in this? I'd believe that. Sounds about right. But there's nothing to really compare it against, so... He's 23, 24. Yeah, again, sounds right, but there's no, like, DL6 incident, like you said, to kind of place it in concrete, so... Yeah, I'll just take 23. You mean the color is wrong? Si, senor! I do not have any green balloons in my warehouse! And yet a piece of green cloth was found at the scene, and it's unmistakably from a balloon. Well, I do not know how that can be! For the sake of argument, let's say that a green balloon did explode above the stage. You couldn't therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question. Why not? There have been recreational balloon flights over Hyde Park operating from before the Great Exhibition. One could have exploded on some earlier date. Unfortunate, as I'm sure you'd agree.
You believe it may have been from some earlier balloon accident that predates the exhibition?
Si, exactamente. As the signor says, it is not from one of my balloons. Clearly this little ragazzo from Bohemia is mistaken about what he saw. Oh, look at you pissing him off. Now it's time for war again.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Oh, he's upset about his name again. Ghost Trick is an amazing mystery game by the Ace Attorney team. It's just one of the new... It's just a one-off new IP they did once, which I highly recommend. Would love a new IP from the Ace Attorney team by now than just another Ace Attorney. I would settle for either, honestly, but I will go ahead and put Ghost Trick on the list. Ghost Trick. Or treat. Ghost Trick is a treat. Perfect. It's Halloween spirited. Yeah, his age means kind of nothing considering we're missing something to compare it to. Okay, wait, I got it. Speaking of war, World War I. Was there a reference to World War I in this game? In these games? Aladici's the expert on these games. I don't know. Maybe he can settle the time frame debate for this. Wait, what did he say? Oh, is something wrong, Master Gotts? It's Master Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund Ormstein! It was on the tip of my tongue, I swear. Sure, something is very wrong. I know what I saw. There was a green balloon there. I swear it all over Bohemia. You can speak as much bad language as you like, but it changes nothing. If you do not have evidence, Ragazzo, then I must tell your parents to punish you, eh? Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to punishments. Evidence? What is this evidence?
To give a simple example, young man. A photograph, for instance. Some tangible proof of what you claim.
Well, why didn't you say so sooner? I have the photograph here.
Good gracious.
What? I had not been up in the balloon for a little while, so I was very excited. I took lots and lots of photographs. Of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian exhibit, of the streets of London, of the hot eel cellar, the balloon. And the instantaneous kinesis experiment? Did you take a picture of that? Yeah, one picture. Really? You did take one? But all I wanted was a ride in a balloon. I was not interested in boring experiments. Never mind that. Can you show us that photograph? Of course, and then you will see. You will see that I am not lying. That I really did see a green balloon. I'm sorry. Oh, wait, no. Can I go back to that, please? I want to see that. That seems kind of important. Check it out. It's on the list. I have a list here I'm making of either recommendations or like people's favorite games. And if I run out of like games to stream, I'm probably gonna look into those and see if I can't, you know, entertain some people with some of their favorites. You know, canonically it happened in Ace Attorney, but Japan fought alongside the Allies against the N people. I think that was, yeah, that was World. I don't know. Actually, I'm not an expert on World War One. I just know two. In Dual Destinies, Athena mentioned something about the Japanese allying with the U.S. in a war. Fair enough. So these events can't happen further from 1914, 1913. Okay, that kind of makes sense then. Great Ace Attorney takes place around 1899. This chapter you're playing starts with a cutscene that implies this exhibition was the last hurrah of the 19th century, just before the turn of the millennium. Well, there goes my rough estimate. Hey, you weren't wrong. You said it couldn't happen any further than 1913, so you were just 13 years off. 14. Still, he is right. This chapter does say it was the last hurrah of the 19th century. So this is late 1800s or early 19. We'll see if it even gets to 19. I'm only on the third chapter, I think. So I got more to go. I got way more to go. Anyway, cool. It's a picture. It's a photograph. Can I see it again, please? Well, I see you were all too shocked to speak.
Yes, I think shocked is indeed the word, young man.
Yeah, perhaps you cannot see that with the green balloon from this photograph, but that is not my fault. That is the fault of the stupid person who made the camera. I can't do that. I'm sorry. That is one very bohemian-sounding cry.
Very well. The court will accept this photograph as evidence.
The photograph of the balloon has been entered into the court record. Anyway, I definitely want to look at that. Please let me look. I don't care. I don't care whose fault about the camera. Shut up. I want to see the picture. I don't know why I went right. I could have just gone left. Photograph taken by Gotts whilst he was riding in a balloon. It shows another balloon that he claims was green and exploded moments after he took this shot. Ooh. Okay, first off, there's Hairbrain. There is, I'm assuming, a wax double of Asmon. I'm not sure. But then we see an empty green balloon with an arrow going straight into it. I'm assuming from the collapsible crossbow. It could have been lit on fire because this doesn't look like it has the hot air. Like, it doesn't look like a hot air balloon. It looks like a hydrogen balloon. So if fire was shot into this balloon, it would explode, but it looks like it was being shot before the experiment even happened. So let's go ahead and roll with that, shall we? Okay, for the sake of argument, let's stick with 1899. Don't feel bad, Prince. Colored pictures won't be a thing for another 8 years. Yeah, I don't know. In the first chapter of this game, or second chapter, in one of the chapters of this game, it was the second chapter. It was with Mr. Shamspear. In the second chapter, the picture of the crime scene was in color. I did mention that, and I thought that was very weird. It's probably an oversight, honestly. But it's a bit of a mess. The real Natsume Soseki was in London around 1902, and the real London exhibit was in like the 1850s, so this game takes loads of liberties. That's fair. I have no doubt that this game has like zero historical accuracy. We're just trying to find a time point that it should take place, because they don't really mention anything solid or concrete. Same goes with the timeline of the Sherlock Holmes events reference. Of course, yeah. Again, for the sake of it's 1899, which is also the same year Red Dead 2 happens? Okay. Colored pictures were the only thing in 1907, so we're stuck with a wonky timeline again. I'm not surprised, but again, it's a work of fiction, so we don't have to be super accurate with the timeline, at least not according to our knowledge of history. So, you give wore that brain out, did you? It's not my fault. It's your fault as a person who made the camera. Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful sepia memories to take home with you. In any case, when exactly did you take that photograph? Well, it was on the day of the big explosion. You don't say. How weird. Oof. When I pressed the shutter release, there was this very loud bang, and a hot wind rushed over my face. That means this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred. Well, if you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing. I could not give the flying fig. Lovely language you picked up. As I thought, Mr. Loon's testimony just doesn't quite add up. The young bohemian boy claims to have seen another, fourth balloon. Mr. Luna vehemently denies the possibility, and it's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the number that were in the air. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure. Anyway, without a DL6 concrete year, we got nothing. It's okay. It's okay. It's like ALD said, there's a lot of liberties that they took with this game, so, you know, like with the original Ace Attorney series, you could build on DL6 2001, but we don't really have to build on anything historical, so for all we know, like, 9/11 in that universe could have happened at any, like, 5 years after. Like, it's not meant to be historically accurate, I'm sure. Where do I place this, though? I think I want to do that one, but hold on. Does this show those... This does not show stripes, but... He said all his balloons had passengers, and that has no passengers, so I want to present that on the first one. At least that's what I'm going to guess. But I'm going to save it, because I am save scum. Present the photograph.
Objection!
Really? Oh, whatever. Man, it's really interesting how much help DL6 was. Because it gave a year, that's why. It gave a year to work with, like a starting point. Alright, dude, you're gonna go to bed, have a good night. Alright, David, thank you so much for coming and hanging out and chatting for a while. And giving me, well, promising to give me lessons on my sassy snaps, so I'm expecting something. But I hope you have a great rest of your night. Go enjoy some more Supernatural, and we can catch up again, you know, the next time you stop by. So, take care of yourself, good luck at work, and yeah, thank you again. Okay. Oh, I presented it on the first one. I meant to, oh my god, I meant to present it here. Am I an idiot? I am an idiot, aren't I?
Objection!
I am an idiot, aren't I? What the... Alright, alright, that calls for some more face palms. I'm sorry. Some more of those. Ah, I'm stupid. Unfortunately, the photograph Master Gotts took can't tell us the color of the balloon, but it can tell us something else. Something crucially important. What? It shows that the pictured balloon wasn't carrying any passengers.
Oh, my goodness, you're right. But surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers. There would be no sense in it otherwise.
See! They offer pleasure. For seeing the view. My balloons only fly with passengers. which tells us that the pictured balloon isn't one of them. So when the incident occurred that day, there was a fourth balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. The mysterious green balloon. I know nothing. Niente. I can only tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine. His hat is mad.
Objection!
Yes, Fanzines? There are illegal tradesmen everywhere you care to look. Clearly, one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Exhibition, and managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Lune's patch without him realizing. See, the competition! They're trying to steal my profits! I did not notice because of the experimental that went wrong on the stage! This fourth balloon exploded at the very same moment Mr. Asman was beamed from the stage below. Right! So them scraps that fell to the ground after and left them scorch marks, they didn't come from the stage at all. It was a bit of the balloon raining down. Because no one was in it, it didn't get no attention. A mysterious fourth balloon, carrying no passengers, silently floating over the experimentation stage.
Objection!
This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one, operated by some rogue trader. Clearly it has nothing to do with the case.
Its relevance does elude me, I must say.
The court has seen sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded. No one's paying attention? Yeah. Jury is out, it looks like. Really? Have we really got to the truth yet? No, I can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up, and not in our favor. What else can this photograph tell us? Is there nothing more we can learn from it? There's like two things. First off, the shot, and second off, the fact that it was going to blow up before the experiment did the thing. Anyway, let's go. There's more.
Objection!
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait. Please don't give your decisions yet. The photograph from Master Gotts may well be hiding one more vital clue.
What's that?
A vital clue?
Objection!
I don't know how to do that guy's voice. I don't. We're well past the point of mere possibilities. It's time for definitives now, so tell the court. What exactly does this alleged clue in the photograph prove? Obviously, cause of the explosion. Thank you. We can reasonably assume that the pictured balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion. Yeah, that's right, yeah, it was not my fault. Evidently. Because the birdcage from the kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying. And the balloon, being filled with flammable hydrogen, instantly and explosively ignited.
Objection!
No, that's not what happened. What? He looks like Waluigi. Do a Waluigi voice. You're not wrong. I wish I thought of that sooner, because that would be pretty smart. I'm not sure if I can do a Waluigi voice, honestly. Yeah. Ah, fuck. That's about as close as it gets, honestly. It would appear that this... Oh, whoops.
It would appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Counsel for the defense, you will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph for the court.
Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see, and what's shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have, in a way that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. The clue that heavily suggests the real reason the balloon exploded is... I'm just gonna do this.
Take that!
The timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous. If you look, you'll notice there's a bright white line that appears to point directly at the balloon. Most likely a ray of light caught incidentally on the film.
I'm afraid I can see nothing of the sort.
If you look with a magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clear what the nature of this bright line really is.
Goodness, what is that? Undeniably some flash like that.
Oh, golly. Do you think it might be lightning?
But it couldn't have been a finer day.
I believe we may be looking at fire.
A bolt of fire heading straight for the balloon, like an arrow. Indeed, even to my aging eyes, it would appear to be a flame of some sort. My word, are you suggesting this flame struck the hydrogen gas that filled the balloon?
Objection!
Just a high-pitched Italian. I'm struggling with normal Italian, I'm gonna be honest, but you can see that for yourself. That's absurd. The balloon would have been 60 feet above the ground at the time. No flame could possibly have reached such a height.
Objection!
Actually, it's my opinion that a particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how that is exactly what did happen.
What evidence? If such evidence exists, Counsel, then for goodness sake present it, man. Which evidence explains this mysterious streak of flame that appears to be headed directly for the balloon?
It's gotta be this crossbow, right?
Take that!
This was found hidden at the foot of a small ornamental tree near the scene.
Good lord, is that a crossbow?
An arrow dipped in oil in Satellite could have been shot from this weapon, sending a flaming arrow straight into the hydrogen-filled balloon. Are you suggesting that a crossbow was used to deliberately... Blimey, you're right! That streak of light in the photo looks just like an arrow, doesn't it? Then the explosion of the balloon, it was... Very likely the result of a flaming arrow from this crossbow igniting the hydrogen gas inside. No!
Order, order! Counsel, this is an extraordinary supposition.
If the aim was to cause the balloon to explode, the shooter would have had used a gun, of course. However, there's an obvious reason why that would have been out of the question. The noise of the discharge, of course. That's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile could be fired at the balloon silently. Well, yeah, if someone had a shot gun off in the exhibition grounds, it would have caused a real panic. But with the big explosione, there was a very big panic anyway, no? I don't like this. I should be pleased to have found a plausible new explanation for all this, but something feels wrong.
Objection!
Do you understand the implications of what you're saying, my Nipponese friend? If a flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon, then obviously it would have exploded. And if the birdcage appeared from the cloud of smoke that ensued... What? Wait a minute. What are you really saying here? I don't get it. Was the birdcage beamed up into the sky after all? Or what?
My goodness me!
Ah, now I understand. That's what that sinking feeling is about. I think there's a good chance the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon all along.
What? Did I just hear that correctly, Counsel?
There's no going back now. The horse is bolted. Let's assume, as I said, that the birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start. On stage, when the experiment was started, the birdcage and the instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground, causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators to the sky above their heads. From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage then appeared to fall down and crash into the crystal tower. I think you'll all agree it's entirely plausible that what I've just described is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out that day.
Good grief!
Objection!
This is ludicrous. What you've described is no science experiment. It's child's play, a contemptible display of stage magic. Both Mr. Sholmes and Ira said that the experiment was a scientific impossibility. In which case, this is the only way to explain what happened that day. And in any case, the victim's body was found inside the birdcage in the crystal tower. If the instantaneous kinesis didn't take place, how do you explain that? If I may put in a word as a man of magic myself, such apparent discrepancies can easily be explained by some simple deception.
Juror number 3.
All that would be needed is a doppelganger, someone who looked very similar to the victim, Mr. Asman. And having this other man appear on stage to front the show as a body double. Yes, of course. So in fact, Mr. Asman must have been inside the birdcage that was concealed inside the balloon right from the start.
Objection!
That balloon would have been filled with hydrogen. Anything hidden inside it would have been scattered to the four winds when it exploded. No one would ever have embarked on such a risky venture.
Not necessarily. The explosive force of the balloon gas would very much depend upon the mixture ratio.
Juror number 4. Why is the jury helping me all of a sudden? This is so weird.
Flying balloons are rarely filled with a pure hydrogen, but a mixture of other gases such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered.
The mixture ratio.
Obviously, the victim's body would have suffered some burns. That would be unavoidable. But not to such extent as to render this whole obscene charade impossible.
So everything that happened can be explained, logically and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was no accident. It was all part of an elaborate deception to make it appear that instantaneous kinesis had occurred.
Well, goodness me.
Whoops. I don't even think I did his right voice. And if we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Asman, was never present on the public experimentation stage to begin with. In short, he couldn't have been killed by the defendant, who was on stage in full view the entire time.
Ah.
That was terrible. Oh, sorry. We're discovering stuff, so my voices are falling apart, but this will be very hard for the prosecution to counter. He said as the prosecution gets ready to counter. Lord Van Zeeks can't credibly maintain that Professor Harebrain is a suspect now. Oh, don't tell me it's Harebrain. It's Harebrain. Mr. Naruhodo, I appreciate your efforts. Thank you. Professor? But you can stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please. Sorry? What's all this about, Mr. Harebrain? I, Albert Harebrain, hereby confess that it was me who stabbed Mr. Odie Asman. Yes, it was me, with my faithful friend and partner, Andrew the Screwdriver. What? What are you doing?
Order! Order! Defendant, explain this sudden confession.
Professor Harebrain, what are you talking about? It's what I've said all along. I must protect my hypothesis and my precious machine. You stand there and claim it was all a trick, all an elaborate prank, but where's your proof? No, you'd have to examine the machine if you wanted to prove it, but then it would all be over. Well, I messed that line up, but whatever. It's fine. My beautiful hypothesis would be laid bare. I mean, the indignity of it. It's clear that you drew the plans for the experiment, but you didn't actually build it. It's quite conceivable that you were duped, Professor. If you'll just let me, I can prove... Barrack! Yes. I'll cooperate. I'll do whatever you say. I swear it. So please, ensure the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act is adhered to and protect my creation. Cue the crickets. What is he thinking? Tell me he wants to get to the bottom of this. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice at this critical juncture. Here's to my learned Nipponese friend. What? And his upcoming attempt to clarify the defense's position in the light of the accused's confession. Do you intend to formally assert that the experiment was nothing more than a conjuring trick? Because the moment you do, the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act that protects the professor's invention will cease to apply. The prosecution will then demand a rigorous examination of the machinery involved in order to establish the truth. However, if you acknowledge that the machine is genuine and instrumental in the victim's murder, any chance of investigating will be crushed, and the confidentiality of the professor's hypothesis preserved.
Well, counsel, what is the defense's official position on this matter?
What Professor Harebrain, my client, actually asked of me was to prove that the explosion on stage was an accident and protect the secrecy of his hypothesis. There's no way to do that without implying the professor's guilt. Do I protect my client's life by asserting his innocence? Or do I uphold my client's request but see him condemned? Either way, I can't avoid betraying his trust.
You've been silent long enough. Isn't talking your trade, my learned friend? Or has all knowledge of English escaped your confused Nipponese mind?
Mr. Naruhodo! There's no escape here. I have to make a choice. But it's an impossible one. I have to give up on something. But what? The defense asserts that the defendant's instantaneous kinesin machine was in fact... Oh god. Oh god. Oh god, oh god. Saving, because I'm a whore. Probably could save over these now, actually, now that I think about it. Anyway. This is a hard one. This is difficult. I am not sure what to do here. Either I say it's a proper scientific invention, implicate my client, but he gets to keep his hypothesis secret, like he wanted, or say it's a conjuring trick, open up the machine to be examined and whatnot, and save him, but lose the hypothesis, the science, as it were. Who would go out of their way to frame someone like this? Is there a way to, like, say it's a proper scientific invention, but say that it was sabotaged so that we can implicate a third party while still keeping the invention secret? Am I on the right track? Only one way to find out, I guess. I'm leaning towards it is a proper scientific invention, but was sabotaged by the engineer who helped him build it. Possibly because this whole setup was kind of leading to this, where someone, some third party, gets hands on that science, you know? I could be overthinking this, but... what happens? Ah! No, I can't say it. My client places faith in me. I just can't let him down. What must I give up on is not the question you have to ask yourself here. It's what can I protect? Oh, it's Susato. She made it back. Just in time. Hello again, Mr. Naruhodo. It's been far too long. Susato-san. But what are you... My first Susato takedown in 6 months. There will be time to talk later, Mr. Naruhodo. For now, we must concentrate on the task at hand. Which is working out not what I have to give up on, but what I can protect. Professor Hairbrain.
Ah, yes?
Yesterday you told me that science is the pursuit of truth. Well, my job is to pursue the truth too. Yes, of course. And personally, I believe that you didn't stab Mr. Asma. I think you've come to realize something yourself too, haven't you? That your experiment and the machine you built with the victim are questionable. The truth behind that is what we must both pursue now. So, you finally opened your eyes. What? And as for you, Albert, you can't ignore this any longer.
Ah.
Having heard my learned friend's assertion, don't you have something to say?
Barrack.
Lord Van Zeeks. Gosh, I've never heard him speak that way before.
In truth, there is one thing. Something I've remembered that's of relevance.
What?
On the day it happened, just before I began the experiment, I saw a man near the stage. A man holding that crossbow.
I beg your pardon?
It's still fun how Susato can simply walk in unnoticed. Yeah, you'd think the bailiffs would have been like, are you sure you should be here? Especially in that outfit? Wonder how many people did Van Zeeks hurt by throwing that bottle into the audience. Probably a lot. But he has thrown multiple bottles, so they're all just kind of congregating in that one seat. Professor, did the man have any distinguishing features? What did he look like?
Tall. Taller than me. And thin. Thinner than me. With straight hair. Straighter and whiter than mine. Let me see. One less lens than me, too. A monocle. A rather stylish black monocle.
Wait. No. What was I doing? Did we see anyone like that? No. Okay.
But one thing in particular will help to positively identify the man. You see, I know him very well. After all, he's the engineer who built my invention.
See? There we go. That's what I've been saying since the beginning. It's gotta be the engineer. What? He built the machine?
That's right. Mr. Asman introduced him to me a year ago. He's a man by the name of Enoch Drebber.
Enoch? Drebber? Does this name mean something? Members of the jury seem flustered. Not a name any scientist wishes to hear. That man's an abomination.
Not a name any conjurer wishes to hear either.
Who on earth is he?
I'm afraid this isn't the first tale of this nature that I've heard in scientific circles in connection with that name. There's talk of other flamboyant experiments that turn out to be nothing but stage trickery in the end. Obviously, the rascal is after the government's research grant money.
When magicians are in need of money, I have heard of them resorting to these underhand tactics. Some acquaintances of mine with experience of such things have mentioned Enoch Drebber's name before.
The man is both an engineer and a magician. Yes, we're dealing with an unparalleled confidence trickster here. That's Enoch Drebber for you.
So it's true then. My invention. My great machine. It was just a grand illusion?
Considering what we've just heard about Mr. Drebber's character, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely.
Even though no one else believed it, I wanted to. I wanted to believe that machine would function exactly as my hypothesis predicted.
Which is why you were so opposed to it being investigated, I presume.
I knew that if the machine was examined in detail, its construction would give away my hypothesis. Obviously, I didn't want that to happen. But at the same time, I knew that if I was found to be nothing more than a trick, than a work of deception, then everything I'd worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, my whole life would be over. I was terrified at the prospect.
So you really had no idea then, did you? About the true nature of the machine that was built, and the true nature of Mr. Drebber.
I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it.
It's entirely possible that Mr. Asman and Mr. Drebber were working together to use you as a means of fraudulently acquiring the research grant money.
When I announced my invention to the crowds that day, it was the finest moment of my career. I pulled all the levers and turned all the dials in exactly the way Drebber had described. When the smoke suddenly started billowing out, I panicked. I didn't know what was happening. But I really don't know how the whole illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore.
Oh, poor Mr. Harebrain. Professor Harebrain. Getting seats behind the prosecution is the worst thing you could. That's where you seat your enemies, just to get tossed bottles at. Let me confirm one final point with you, Professor. Do you now consent to the prosecution submitting the necessary paperwork to release your invention from the protection afforded by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act?
Yes, please go ahead. I'm very sorry.
It would appear that we shall have to suspend proceedings for the remainder of the day now. Lord Van Zeeks.
My lord?
The court has newly been made aware of another party whose involvement in this matter is critical.
Yes, Mr. Drebber.
Gather information about the man. If possible, I should like him served with a subpoena.
With pleasure, my lord.
Now, counsel for the defense.
Yes, my lord.
When we reconvene, I shall be looking for one thing and one thing alone from you. Evidence that the defendant is innocent of the crime for which he is presently stands accused.
I understand.
Good. In that case, this court is adjourned until tomorrow morning.
Wabam! Lay down the hammer. 23rd October, 1:36 p.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber.
Mr. Naruhodo,
Yeah?
I'm so sorry. I was wrong. You were right. I tricked you. You trusted me. I dragged you into my mess. Oh, how did it ever come to this? I'm so sorry.
Did you really have no idea, Professor? About what Mr. Drebber was really up to it? About what he was really constructing?
Naturally. That machine was the embodiment of my hypothesis, of all my hopes and dreams. I had complete faith in it.
Alright, in that case, I won't say any more. Now, sadly the murder accusation against you still stands, so we must do as much investigating as we can before the trial resumes tomorrow.
Well, thank you for doing so much for me. I'm so sorry for arriving late this morning, Mr. Naruhodo.
Arriving late?
Didn't you receive my postcard? I wanted to let you know when I'd arrive.
Postcard? What postcard?
I had it from you, Runo, so it would be a surprise! Well, did it work?
I was surprised, alright, especially when she threw me to the ground.
Oh dear. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I was just so happy to see you again that it sort of slipped out.
Maybe we could stick to more traditional displays of emotion in the future.
Susie's train was leading to London, Victoria this morning, you see? But we made the coachman really whip the horses hard so she didn't miss the whole trial. I was watching from the gallery for a while, but in the end, I'm afraid I couldn't contain myself.
Well, I'm glad you didn't.
Oh,
Having you at my side in court gives me the strength I need to win. So, I'm delighted to see you back in London.
oh, you're too kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm delighted to be here. I hope I can continue to be of service to you.
Of course. So, what's brought you back? Did Professor Mikutova not protest?
Let's save all that conversation for when we're back at home, shall we? You know, I've made one of my most special blends ever for this special occasion. Oh, Iris, how wonderful. I can't wait.
Susato-san was back in London. It's hard to describe how happy that made me feel at the time, but despite my elation, our tale was about to take yet another extraordinary turn. To be fucking continued. Okay. Perfect. Great timing because it is now half an hour past bedtime, which I believe fulfills my 3-hour streaming contractual obligation. Blah, 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 blah. I have not been talking well this whole time, and I apologize to you guys, to anyone that's had to watch that. But we are calling it here for the night. So, let me see how many people we got lurking. Just a couple, but no one, I don't need to raid with this amount, so I'm just going to end it here. But I do want to give a couple shout outs, obviously, for first the raid from Norman. Thank you so much, Norman. Really appreciate it. And then the raid from Dr. Console. Thank you so much, DRC. And then, of course, to all my chatters, to everyone who hung out and participated and made, you know, my evening that much more fun. That guy, Diva Kitty, Aladici, thank you so much for dropping by. We got Dr. Console, we've got Dragon Spooker, we got Mochi, we got DJ Pablo, I believe that was his name. Yeah, DJ Pablo. And then Norman, of course. I can't go all the way back to the top of my chat. I wish I could, but I'm sure Norman's followers participated as well. So just to all of you, thank you so much for the support, for even just tuning in and watching for a bit. I really appreciate it. You guys mean the world to me. So cutting it short here. I hope you all take care of yourselves, stay healthy, stay hydrated, and I look forward to my next chance to playing games and hanging out with you all. Again, hopefully maybe tomorrow. No, not tomorrow, sorry. Maybe Friday, but we'll see where the week takes us. Otherwise, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you later.